All right, peace and love, beautiful souls. High vibrations to you all. Gratitude for the time, your energy, and thank you for your prayer and knowledge. Tonight, of course, we're gonna go in on this full moon energy. I definitely want to kind of help you out in understanding what this full moon in Gemini is going to be culminating. I got the beautiful Diamond with me. Diamond, you can feel free to chime in whenever you feel like it. If you just want to talk about, because I'm gonna be going through some of these dates and all that good stuff. Gratitude for you showing up and all that good shit. So we're gonna be giving some clarity tonight. Diamond might chime in on the cards when she feel like it. I'll be going through some dates, talking about these transits for 2020 five, the end of it for December, and talking about how this month of December, the month of Deca, which means 10, and 10 is completion. And it's a wonder why we call it the 12th month, but it's actually the 10th month when you break it down. And December to D anything. Think about D anything, D Frost. You talking about detain, detail, right? December, dealing with the essence of Simber. This is how a reef or a ring or something around you, right? So this is why we're descending into December. It has a lot to do with the story of the Christ, dealing with Christmas and Jesus, and us going into a time of love and family. Because if you got the opposite signs of what's going on during this time, the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini. Every full moon sets us up for a 6 month period. Okay. So literally this full moon is going to be setting us up for the next full moon that shows up 6 months from now, that would be in Sagittarius, which will be during Gemini season. Okay. Full moons happens every 6 months when it talks about the polarity of the energy. So the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius, right? The gatherer and the hunter. That's what the mythology of it is about, right? It's about the one who gathers and the one who teaches. Sagittarius is the guru, the straight shooter, getting straight to the point, the comedian, the bartender, the one that's the life of the party at times. You get what I'm saying? So when you're talking about this axis, there's the one of communication. Gemini and both Sagittarius deals with the way we deal with intrusive thoughts and the way we expand on those thoughts. Hence, Sagittarius deals with perspective and optimism and philosophy and higher institutions, and Gemini's elementary schools and your neighborhood streets that you roamed around, your uncles, your aunties, your cousins. You see what I'm saying? When you deal with Sagittarius, this is where you got probably some type of learning, a camaraderie from a teacher, right? I'm a Sagittarius rising. So a lot of teachers was cool with me. I was cool with a lot of teachers, a lot of older people. I had a lot of cousins growing up. As you can see, one of my brothers in the building, Gemini shit. So, Gemini can be very mutable, right? And then when you bring in the fire of Sagittarius, it's also giving you a place to move, to take the thought and expand on it. Because when you deal with the breath, either we're expanding or contracting. Think about when you breathe. You breathe in, you breathe out, right? That expansion and contraction has a lot to do with the way we analyze thoughts and information. Are we able to let thoughts flow? Or does the thought sometimes consume you? You just sitting still, chilling, and you start thinking about something, and your brain start using up all this energy, and it feel like you went somewhere, but physically you ain't moved. That's how a perspective can shift you out somewhere. Okay, so the fire energy, the earth energy, all earth signs are opposed by fire. Okay, if a thought isn't challenged or purged, it can become a loop. That's why the earth signs are always opposed by fire. All right, Libra. All right, the opposite is Aries. Right, Aquarius. The opposite is Leo. All right, lovers and friends is the axis of Aquarius and Leo. And when you bring in Aquarius and Aries, yourself and relationships, right? You see how both of those, all of those earth signs polarized by fire energy, and that's why we can find ourselves a lot of times as mutable energies in relationships. And that's why they say you like Geminis want to be free, but it's like a thought form. Cause I can think about some shit but won't really act on it. A Sagittarius will do the opposite. They'll act on some shit before they think about it. You get what I'm saying? Or they just give it one thought and then there's no hesitation. It's fire. I tell people all the time, the Sag will go through the fire, right? And be like, Yeah, while the Aries is thinking about it and the Leo gotta look good, the Sag done took the whole trip, done came back and like, yeah, I burnt some elbows, fucked my head up a little bit, but I lived. I'm good. So how many things that live in your mind that equate to memory that have actually killed you versus made you stronger? Hence adversity. Something can feel like it's always pressure. See, fire can build pressure. And then that's where we get fired up. The hot-headedness. We start doing shit from pride. So the ego can be built and also manifested through fire and earth. Okay? Because you can get a motherfucker that's loud and wrong. You can get somebody that's so caught up in their own thought forms, it don't matter what the fuck you say. See, this is how a lot of people get lost in translation. And this is why the authenticity of conversation and communication, when the words come out your mouth and they pure and you remove a filter, you can burn some motherfuckers. Some mother be like, damn, you ain't have to say it like that. See, this is what the saying of you can attract um more shit with flies with shit than you can attract more flies with shit than you can honey. See? So when you talking about ants versus flies, both of them gonna attract something. So what does your vibration, your words, your tonality? This is why everybody in this reality has their own signature voice. All right. And Mercury and Gemini also deals with the way you think and the way you listen. You got two ears and one mouth for a reason. So when the compulsive, the intrusive thoughts happen, are you truly taking a pause? See, this full moon is like it's time to take a pause, the nervous system, a break. All right. So I'm gonna tap in. I'm gonna talk a lot about that nervous system. I'm gonna talk a lot about this Gemini axis and what's going on with this full moon, also Sagittarius season. And like I said, I'll be going off into some of the key transits. When for those of you who are not too familiar with astrology, every day something is transiting another space. It's just like when you driving in your car, you pass by something, right? And when you think anybody ever seen the movie Lucy, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all have, right? And in the movie Lucy, she shows this scene where everything speeds up, okay? And it's like you think it's going slow, but actually you're going faster, all right? So imagine when you passing somebody out on the road and they going 60 and you speed up to about 90. Yeah, it's gonna look like they sitting still. Okay. So that motion, sometimes we can be flowing and going and moving to where everything else seems like, see how life be happening fast? It's like, damn, they came quick. Think about this year. This year, December came up on us real quick. We've been in a lot of air energy. The water energy has been present, right? We've been going through a lot of water shifts, the emotions, the finances, the currency, right? The earth signs, the opposite, the living situations. People been going through displacements, all kind of things with that. Even having displaced ass thoughts not being at home in your body. Because it's just like the scripture says, this whole thing is about the spirit being at home in the body. And when the spirit is represented by air, how disjointed are you from your body, from your emotions? How separate do people think thoughts and emotions are? Because so a man thinketh, so a man is. Because what you think becomes what you feel, and what you feel becomes what you think. They just on two different ends of the spectrum. They not separate. So what we gather, and when we base that off of what we feel, this becomes a belief. Okay. This can create cognitive dissonance. You can present somebody with all the evidence in the world to show them the truth, but they still gonna fight you on it. Even if it's the truth about their goddamn self. That becomes ego-sensitive, egocentric. See, the persona takes on its own form when you deal with Gemini and Sagittarius. Somebody can be very sure of who the fuck they think they are. And then when something presents them or something about life shows them some shit, it's like, damn. And if everybody go to telling you the same thing about yourself, it might be you. Okay? So recognize your twin. I just made it live and tell everybody deals with Gemini energy. People like to condemn Gemini and all this old shit, but we're all Geminiing around here because the funky paralips will say any goddamn thing. Anytime you say yes with your lips and no with your heart, you've acknowledged a twin aspect of you, and something else was born because you became out of alignment. I don't know nobody in this reality that's human that has not spent moments in time saying yes with their lips and no with their heart. We all I'm raising my hand. We all done it. We all done lived in division. We all done lived in confusion. We all done lived in indecisiveness. This the earth shit. Okay. So when you think about that, that's relatable to the club suite in cardiology. All right. So let me start sharing this screen so I won't have y'all here all night Gemini and shit, because y'all know I can talk all night. All right. See. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Is everybody able to see that?
It's coming up
Can
now.
y'all hear me?
Coming up.
It's coming up
Okay,
now.
bitch.
It's there.
Oh, it was moving slow. All right. Okay, y'all got it? Y'all can see it?
Yes.
Is it there? Okay, bitch. Appreciate y'all. All right, now I call this a cold moon codex. Anybody, familiar with what a codex is? You know what I'm saying? And you hear this a lot in movies and shit, right? The codex and Transformers, and we love some movies. Me and my brother, we hit the movies up like it ain't nothing, right? But when you thinking about codex, right? The word codex is like a ancient manuscript on a book form, okay? Like a codex is like it's code X. Okay. So when you're able to access a memory, access a thought, you just access your own codex. What is in your codex? Right? This also equates to what people call the philosopher's stone. See? So when you hear all these philosophies, the philosopher's stone, right? You thinking about Sagittarius ruling philosophy, all right? So I just wanted to give y'all the meaning of what Codex represents, because it's like what we're holding on to in the aspect of our own book of life. You are walking, you are the word made living flesh. Even Jesus said, through you, right? Greater work shall be done. Okay. So the last full moon of the year, right? This is the end of a 9-year cycle, right? This last lunar completion of the wood snake year, okay, it's taking us into a harsh year, okay? That's Chinese astrology. Now, the cold moon in Gemini, because that's what this is called, a cold moon, because it ushers in the cold weather. Think about how everything got cold. Everywhere in this world damn near went cold over the last week. I don't give a damn where you are in this United States of America. Your temperature flipped over this last week, and it will remain that because this ushers in the winter time. Hence why it's called a cold moon. All right. Now, this is also going to be dealing with the portal of closure, communication clearing, karmic release, mental alignment, and also the psychic defogging. We all got psychic capabilities because we all can pick up on thoughts and shit that is not our own. All right. How you able to discern that or discern that, I would say, it's all on how you hone in on it. So you can practice these things, right? How accurate you are with your thoughts. You can feel some shit, the intuition. This is our femininity. Okay. So when you think about the masculine and the feminine principle, and why Gemini represents a twin, it can represent androgyny. Certain people, if you got like Venus in Gemini, Mars in Gemini, or something in the third house, you can definitely be somebody who could be gender fluid. You could be a very sexual person with a lot of Gemini energy. Gemini can be very sexually active, okay? So just to tell you why that is, all right? We feel a lot of shit. A lot of shit can stimulate the senses with a Gemini, okay? So when we're dealing with this is not only a lunar finale, it's a numerological, astrological, karmic, and energetic finale. Because this moon is the completion of completions. The last moon of the calendar year, the final moon of the global 9-year, the ending of a numerological decade cycle. Okay? We're ending a 10-year cycle based off of what the numbers represent. So this is why 2025 equals the number 9, 2026 will equal the number 1. So the full moon after Mercury stations direct, because Mercury just came out of retrograde, and now the moon is coming in Gemini, which Mercury rules Gemini. Okay, this is very dynamic, and Saturn is going direct as well. It's already went direct. So this is like the final lunar expression inside the metaphysical wood snake year. All right, and it's the way the moon wants to illuminate the thought forms. Whatever sign the full moon is with, it just illuminates the tendencies or the energies or the influences of that sign. And remember, the moon gonna touch every zodiac sign every goddamn month. Okay, so that's why it's the fastest moving orb, just like your goddamn emotions and your mood swings. So the Gemini vibration turned up to full brightness exposes what must be said, what must be cleared, what must be admitted, and what must be subconsciously released, especially in the material or the mental communication or the communicative, relational, and karmic realms. So the spiritual significance of this cold moon as an energetic purifier, traditionally the cold moon marks purification, psychic installation, winter shadow integration type shit. You know, the body becomes more dense, the ancestral memory starts to surfacing. People start thinking about their ancestors, their loved ones. People start grieving a lot more. This is the body coming online too. All right. This is emotional clarity emerging from stillness. It's why a lot of people just want to be still and wiggling their toes and light a nice fire, a nice warm blanket, because this is the same energy. Think about when you're in the hospital when it's real cold. That's what happens during the cold because the part of your heated system, the part of your nervous system that is in flight, it goes into rest during the winter. All right. So literally we rest during the winter time. The nervous system wants to rest. More rest, less stress. But think about how stressful these holiday times can be on people and why that can end in a lot of people's demise and so many people transition during the winter days. All right. Because when the body becomes cold, certain things can come alive. Now, the moon acts as like a crystalline wind through the mind, sweeping away stagnant narratives, outdated identity constructs, and subconscious scripts that no longer fit the next chapter. So the spiritual themes are telling the truth, right? Because the truth don't make you free, it set your ass free. I mean, the truth don't set you free, it makes you free. Because once you're no longer living a lie and you're able to be honest and authentic, you don't ever have to worry about the truth setting you free because you live in truth. You will always be free. The revelation of hidden motives and shit. Don't be surprised. You gotta hear what people don't say. Cause with Gemini energy and with the mind, you know how sometimes people talk, and there's a saying: the more they talk, the more they tell it. Sometimes you gotta let people talk, or they're gonna tell you exactly what the fuck they got going on. Just listen. All right. Silence is golden in that place. So the
Yeah,
closing of karmic communication
yeah. After I
loops and
hurt my
shit,
leg,
right?
I went on ahead
And
and
it's like
installed that app. I'm
realigning
good on
thinking of
that.
your soul path
I do
and
that.
all that good shit. Hold on, let
Chill
me
out.
mute them real quick.
Man, you trying to run uphill. It was that Nike app.
All right, there we go. All right, let me get back to the screen sharing. Can y'all see the screen now? Am I back? I know it took a while to load up a while ago. Am I back?
You're
Okay,
back.
good. Thank you. Thank you. Now, like realigning your thinking with your soul path, right? Karmic closing these communication loops. How many times you gonna keep repeating the same shit over and over to people? You know, like how many times you gonna keep repeating the same shit over and over to your goddamn self and not moving on the shit? You know how that paralysis by analysis, overthinking, and not really acting on the thought? That is very rooted in Gemini energy. So we talking about how this has been a pattern for you over the last 9 or 10 years, and how it's a beautiful time for you to close it off and reclaim your voice, dismantle that mental fear-based patterns and shit. Cause this moon awakens the throat chakra, right? The crown chakra and the cerebral pathways. She's a neural rewiring moon. You understand? Like she gonna rewire your neuropathic pathways and shit, but you gotta be willing to express yourself through it. That's a you thing. See, Gemini is the messenger between worlds because Gemini rules the mind, how you listen and speak, language, inner dialogue, your perception, your personal mythology, the stories you tell others about who you are, and the stories you tell yourself. Okay? Because under a full moon, Gemini becomes a mirror. Your communication becomes a reflection of your own consciousness. See, this is why people really understand the shit that comes out of their mouth is a reflection of what you think and what you feel, and is hidden in your own likes and your own dislikes. You can truly become a master communicator because you'll recognize how much shit ain't even worth you talking about. See, under the moon, you can suddenly see how childhood beliefs shape a lot of your adult communication, how trauma shape your tone, word choices and shit, and these relational patterns, which the mental loops are kind of survival based versus soul based. You know what I'm saying? Which one of these are based in survival and which one of these are based in your personal autonomy type shit, right? So the outdated neural pathways that can now be released. The old conversations you're still carrying energetically. Motherfuckers get triggered and you just trying to say what you think or what you feel. That's the ego sensitive part. Now, if that's you, they get easily triggered and somebody just expressing their perspective and it makes you feel some type of way because somebody think a certain type of way. Yeah, that's some shit you got to work on. Okay. Now, the moon brings downloads, flashes of insights, and sudden clarity around choices, direction, and self expression. And in the mundane, all right, the real life influences, discommunication breakthroughs, and full disclosure, the truth being spoken, secrets revealed. See, these are the things that Gemini, we if you don't control the Gemini mouth, we'll say some shit. You'll be like, damn, you said that. Sagittarius the same way. Sagittarius the same goddamn way. They'll say some shit. But see, Sagittarius to do it in a dark humor. Gemini do it like I was just talking. I ain't really and serious the whole goddamn time. Sagittarius to be serious and they won't laugh, but it'll be some of the funniest shit you probably done heard. But it'll make you cringe, like, damn, oh, they said it like that. Like, yes. So when you talking about contracts being renegotiated, right? Relationships experiencing the final conversation. Because without having a final conversation about certain things, they keep coming up. See, this is clarity around work and purpose or direction as well. And what I mean by these relationships and final conversations, tiptoeing around shit. And no, I don't want to talk about that right now. You always bring that up. When you're in a relationship with somebody, having a disagreement and having a conversation about it is some of the most healthiest shit you can do. Because if you don't, you go to sleep with shit on your mind and on your heart, and that shit perpetuates, and you leave somebody after 10 years, 20 years. I've been tired of your ass. You don't fuck good anyway. Your dick little. you know, Motherfuckers start saying, I ain't like the way you said that. I've been there. So it's like, damn, how long you been around me and you really don't want to be here? All these are the ways we can live a motherfucking lie. And that's why I was just telling people a while ago, even understanding the power of Gemini and this motherfucking reality, I don't give a fuck who you are, right? How many lies have you told yourself, right? How many things have you had to pull yourself out of and stop telling yourself a motherfucking lie? If you ain't happy, you're not happy. And when you realize that's not somebody else's job to make you happy, yeah, you got to be honest with yourself and say, I got to go do some things to deal with my own mental, my own shit. So people speak more honestly sometimes, too honestly. I do that. I've done that shit so many times. Honest to a fault type shit. And it's like, but this is intentional. Because I speak with honesty and authenticity intentionally. It's not by accident when I say what the fuck I feel. It ain't no accident. So you cannot carry distortion into this new numerological cycle. Where we're going, like this, that 5D shift, everybody be talking about it and all of those shit. The density. That's why people been talking about authenticity is the new high vibration in love. Because it's real. But it's one thing to talk about it and it's another thing to be about it. A lot of people think they real, but they don't, that shit is in their head. Okay. Now, Mercury rules Gemini and this moon affects travel plans. All right. I've just been telling a lot of people I've been doing the readings for. And if you want a personal reading, remember, because you paid the 33, the people paid the 33, you would definitely get the PDF. And if you want a full reading for yourself, which some of y'all did pay for the full readings yourself, to break down how this Gemini moon energy and Sagittarius is kind of set up in your chart and what this transit is doing for you on a personal level and how is it influencing your travel plans. I just did a reading for a beloved and I realized that she was traveling. So I had to let her know, like, hey, have second plans because she was a Gemini, right? So having second plans, making sure that you don't just have your mind set on something. You understand? Because imagine when you get redirected. See, this happens in life. When God redirects you, is you going to be stubborn and try to go that way any goddamn well? You're going to say, wait a minute, I might not even supposed to be. Is it that you made a wrong turn? Now, sometimes you do get lost, okay? But when you're talking about lost, you can only be found when you're lost. So it's always something. It's like when you find the fun and not knowing. You get what I'm saying? It's okay. Shit happens. Imagine being at the airport. You've been witnessing this shit too for a lot of people. And then the flight get delayed or something happens. Man, that shit fucks with you. But the Gemini energy, like always, happening for a reason. I ain't tripping. Matter of fact, they telling me that the flight is delayed, but I really want to go to fucking Florida anyway. So fuck it, let's go to Florida. See how the SAS just kicked in? But if your mind was set on a destination, I was supposed to be here. I got a meeting here. I was supposed to meet them. Well, if you didn't do the due diligence to have a safe route, another route, that's why you will see a lot of people at airports. And when the flight is delayed and they got time to get to the place, what do? They rent a car. I'm just showing you how this energy can play out. All right. Technology glitches and clearing, documents finalizing, mental decluttering. This the main thing. Okay. Reorganizing files, inboxes, finances, planning long-term moves or career transitions, deleting shit out your phone and shit, right? Reorganizing these files and all that type of shit, right? Your inbox messages, your text messages, and how many people leave shit on read or just don't even respond. All that's energy. All those are mental pulls. I tell people this all the time. Every time you try to leave somebody on red or you act like you that motherfucking busy to where you can't respond to a goddamn text message. And I know people, I don't like texting. Hey, it's a lot of shit you don't like, but you gotta get with this shit. That's the mind of Gemini. You don't like texting, but try to call one of your children, they don't answer the phone and text you like, what you want, mama? Yeah, I told you to call me. You stuck in your ways. So don't be afraid to switch and be mutable. Okay. So sometimes because I text, I use a lot of voice text and shit. So sometimes things get lost in translation when you are texting. But this is because you're probably trying to find the right words to say. So, knowing when to pick up the phone, knowing when it's cool to just, I don't have to call you, I can text you. Text messaging can be very convenient. And when I was talking about leaving things on read or unread or not responding to whatever the fucking case may be, this is you leaving an energetic pool. Cause you over here chilling and the same person that texts you that you didn't respond, all of a sudden you wondering why you keep thinking about them. Or you wonder like why it feels like you tolerating their energy because you're not closing it off. Tell them no. Tell them I ain't got time for that. Tell them what the fuck. Tell the motherfucking truth. Remember, it will make you free, not set you free. Okay? Because this Gemini moon going to reveal duality, that ambivalence.
Is it just me? I can't hear Sensei.
No, it just kicked me out too.
Yeah, sounds like he cut out. Hold on.
Can you guys hear me yet? I can't.
No.
Okay. I hope to God that he's not just talking this whole time. He has like no clue.
No, he on mute right now.
Might be a connectivity issue.
All right, can y'all hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Did y'all, was I out of there the whole time, y'all?
Yeah, I texted you and said we couldn't hear you. Nobody could hear you for a while.
God damn it, that's fucked up. Hold on, let me go back here. All
No, you were
right.
talking the whole time. I
I
knew it
was
too.
going off.
I knew
I
it.
was going off. It's retrograde shit. Hold on. All right.
We heard nothing.
Right. Damn.
I was
So
like, I
y'all heard
thought Mercury went
nothing.
direct already.
It did, but we're in the shower period clearly, because what the fuck? All right. So what did y'all not hear me? Let me say that. What did I cut off at?
You just started talking about a new part, that whole part.
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
mundane and real life experiences
Okay.
or influences. Sorry, my bad. Influences.
You were talking about Gemini and Sagittarius, how Gemini will travel, but Sagittarius is more spontaneous as far as switching the travel direction and whatnot. You kind of like went out right after that.
Okay. So was I talking about travel and planes and shit and flying?
Yeah, like after you said
Okay.
Gemini travel to travel, but but Sagittarius will switch up where the destination is based on whatever occurrences change, and then you went quiet after that.
Okay. All right. Shit. Let me get to this thing then. Let me get back to this thing. That's crazy. Oh, I was saying a lot of shit too. I sure was talking. And that's why somebody was calling me too. I started getting calls. I was like, what the fuck? So hold on. Okay. Hold on. Let me get this goddamn thing pulled up. Crazy work, yo. All right, can y'all see my screen?
No, we still
Can
see
y'all
you.
see my screen?
I
Okay, y'all
see,
still see me? Hold
I
on.
see the screen.
Now I see your screen.
Okay, big. Just want to make sure. Okay. Now let me see where I stopped at. So was it up in here? Did I stop at the truth telling part, or which part was it?
Yep, pretty much that part.
All right. So back to the issue at hand. Now, what I was saying was when you're dealing with Gemini and this crystalline wind moving through the mind, right, sweeping away these stagnant, outdated identity constructs, you know, this is like when we allow certain things or certain thought forms about ourselves to die. And that's why I was saying about all of the earth signs are always polarized by a fire sign, right? Because when we talking about being able to tell the truth and even having these realizations of these hidden motives, because when you are able to discern, you're able to hear what the fuck people don't say, right? And you know how sometimes you left a conversation and you thinking about like, damn, they said something that's like, it's still something about it didn't sit right, right? See, these type of things are heightening after this full moon, right? Because it wants to realign your thinking with your soul path and close these karmic communication loops. And what I was saying about these karmic communication loops, how many times are you gonna have a conversation with somebody about the same shit, right? How many times are you gonna like be fighting with somebody around they thought forms or the way they think or the way they feel? You know? Like how many times do we get in these communication loops with people and they're not really like they can't grasp what the fuck we saying, right? And some of these things are really not even worth constantly going through a loop and talking about. So when you're able to honor your own mental and discern certain things for yourself, it really opens up the doorway for you to really understand how much of these conversations and communication loops that you've been like sitting in and being able to reclaim your voice. Because This moon wants to help dismantle any fear-based patterns. All right. And all those patterns that keep you in the loop of not being fully aware, not trusting your discernment. And that's why it's going to open up and awaken the throat chakra, the crown chakra, these cerebral pathways, right? And that's why I was saying a while ago, she's a neural rewiring moon. It's like she's here to subtly shift your mental, here to subtly open you up to a new perspective, a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing things, right? And this is so dynamic when you think about it because this is needed at this time, right? Because Gemini is the messenger between worlds and all this good shit. So this is like when you dealing with Gemini, the mind and how you listen and how you speak. It's why we got two ears and one mouth. Language, that inner dialogue, our self-talks, right? Your perception, your personal mythology. These are also the stories you tell others about who you are and the stories you tell your motherfucking self. These are the twin aspect. These are how we relate to our own thought form. This is why I tell people everybody's experiencing Gemini. You don't have to be a Gemini to be experiencing the energy of Gemini. So when you dealing with this full moon, it becomes a mirror, and your communication becomes a reflection of your consciousness. Because the way you speak and the way you listen, your likes and your dislikes, the things you begin to look and see and pick out and all that type of shit, that's a reflection of your consciousness. Hence, your thoughts create your reality. See, this moon could open up a lot for you to begin to see how these childhood beliefs have shaped your adult communication, how trauma has shaped your tone and your word choices and your relational patterns. And this is why I was saying this a while ago about sometimes people in relationships and this is becoming transactional, right? And this is like when I was saying, how many people actually gonna be honest about, you know what I felt was coming from my own triggers. It was coming from my own mama shit. It was coming from my own father wounds. It was coming from my own internal issues. And you just showed up as a trigger for it. The triggers are your motherfucking friends. And when you truly know that people trigger you because they put you in a place to self-reflect, right? And a lot of your childhood shit can still be perpetuating inside of your relationships, inside of your conversations. These are the mental loops that are survival based versus soul based. And this is why the outdated neural pathways that can now be released are going to become more aware to you. And they might come up in these conversations. They might come up in these loops. See, old conversations you're still carrying energetically. And I was saying this while ago about these conversation loops, right? How a lot of time we leave people on red. You got people in your inbox and your text message, and you ain't responding to these people, right? Those are energetic pulls when you understand the power of the mental plane and communication. Somebody over there thinking about you because you didn't respond, and you over wondering why you get so tolerable or get so upset when you think about this person. They ain't done nothing to you. But when you don't say no, when you don't close shit off, when you don't state, hey, this is what I'm doing, like you like being able to just kind of say what's on your mind and say what you feel, right? Free of that loop that you can that'll stop you from speaking, that'll restrict your throat chakra. Yeah, you don't want to live in that. Right? So carrying these old conversations around in your body energetically and shit, conversation you never had with your mama, conversation you never had with your daddy, and it shows up in conversations with your significant other and shit. See, this is why these moon is gonna bring downloads and these flashes of insight and sudden clarity around choices, direction, and self-expression. Because this mundane and real life influence of this moon, you can expect truths to be spoken, secrets to be revealed, misunderstandings to be cleared, right? Contracts renegotiated, relationships experiencing a final conversation. Because when you have a hard conversation or a so-called conversation, just to end all conversation, we ain't got to keep dancing around this shit. We ain't got to keep going in loops. We ain't got to keep acting like we on eggshells. Let's have the conversation because the clarity that comes from that. And a lot of people could be needing clarity in the areas of work or your purpose or direction. And that's going to come through having a final conversation, even if it's with your goddamn self. Because people are going to speak more honestly, sometimes too honestly. I was saying I've done this as a Gemini, raising my hand. Sometimes I'll be too motherfucking honest and true transparent, if that's a thing, and it really is in this reality, because people are sensitive to authenticity. They just are. But this is very intentional. So listen to what people say right now. All right. And being able to honor that you cannot carry distortion into a new numerological cycle. You don't want to carry that distorted ass energy that is not allowing you to fully trust your discernment into this new cycle. All right. And as Mercury rules Gemini, this moon is going to affect a lot of travel plans. And I was saying a while ago, I've done a couple readings here lately. And for those of you who want to book the full breakdown for yourself, make sure you book it because I'm able to look at what is going on with your moon. If you got any traveling plans or whatever the case may be, and you might just so happen to be a Gemini, or your Mercury's there, or whatever the case may be, or you got some Sagittarius placements, right? I've been telling people to make sure you got a backup plan. Sagittarius and Gemini is the energy of we took a trip, the flight got delayed, and I said fuck it, and I rented a car. Or the flight got delayed and I wasn't tripping because I planned the flight a little bit earlier anyway, right? So being able to know that you're ready for something to happen that's out of the ordinary, that's something that is out of your control, right? That can literally prepare you. It's just like being in traffic. So when you're in traffic, are you up the traffic or can you rise above the traffic? Right? So the mental decluttering, the documents finalizing and shit, right? This is also gonna be dealing with the reorganizing of files and inboxes. And I was saying it's a good time to clear your inboxes, clear your files, your emails, and if you got pictures you need to dump and all that kind of shit. It's a good time to kind of pay attention to those things and go through that clearing. Cause this is like a logistical reset. Anybody into logistics? I work for UPS. All right, so into logistics, understanding how to kind of reset the little details about certain things, right? Cause this Gemini full moon is going to reveal duality, that ambivalence, also the unspoken needs, the mismatched values and communication styles. A lot of times you're not communicating clearly with people because y'all values don't match and you trying to get somebody to see some shit the way you see it and think the way you think. And this is one of the gravest mistakes in this reality. And I tell people, get out of people's psychological drama. All right. So these unspoken needs and these mismatched values could becoming much more clearer to everybody after this full moon or during this full moon energy. All right. And when you're dealing with this moon, it can bring a lot of decisive relationship clarity. Okay. And the endings of even if a connection is mentally or spiritually stagnant, you could be experiencing some breakthroughs with this and intimacy through deeper conversations. You know, it's like I tell people, during my couple sessions and shit like that, stop going to sleep with shit on your heart because this is when people can leave a relationship. They've been with you for 20 years and they get out and be like, I ain't never liked it. I don't like the way you cook. Your dick ain't good. You know what I'm saying? Like all this shit you've been holding on to. And you think I'm supposed to really feel some type of way about it? So when you talking about using your words and saying how the fuck you feel, right? And sometimes you got to really say that shit and honor that my mind changes. We all change. So you could be in a relationship with somebody and not be the same person that they met, and that's okay. So giving yourself permission to change, giving yourself permission to change your mind, and knowing that don't always have to mean that I gotta leave somebody, I gotta be on eggshells because I don't think the same way I used to think. I don't feel the same way I used to feel. So these conversations can lead to reconnections or even reconciliation. It's just based on the honesty, the level of honesty. And that's just like when you come around somebody and you've been dealing with somebody and you don't fuck with them for some shit that they did. And they try to come back in your life without having a conversation about the shit they did. It's like, nah, what the fuck? So making sure that you in those loops, right? Because it's gonna help you understand why your relationship patterns repeat and how to end that loop. You ain't got no business still, at this point, I ain't gonna even put no age on the shit. But we should not be going into 2026 still trying to pick our friends and talking about they ain't no real friend. If your discernment ain't good enough to know a friend from a foe, a snake from a fucking dog, you get what I'm saying? Like your discernment should be able to tell you that. And when you trust your discernment, you don't wait on nobody to show you they're a snake. You don't gotta get bit by the snake. Oh my God, I knew you was a snake. Oh my God, I knew you wasn't right. So that's what can happen when the feminine energy is disrupted and you don't trust the intuition, and the androgynous nature of Gemini would dictate that if without the feminine intuition, the masculine principle is left to wander, you know? So when you truly trust your discernment, the fucking truth will be revealed to you every time. And if you really think about this shit, think about how the power of Gemini shows up with this conversation and communication loop. Cause the more people talk, the more they tell it. Sometimes a lying motherfucker, just let them talk. Sometimes with a lying motherfucker, ask them 100 questions. Keep asking their ass questions. Every time they say something, that's what the police do. You know, they keep asking question after question after question until they finally say, gotcha. That's what happened when you're in a loop of lying. Sometimes you can't discern on when the truth is coming out of your mouth. So when we talking about sudden realizations, those subconscious memories resurfacing, closure around years of long mental suffering, clarity on why you think the way you do, right? Deep insight into your trauma responses, the emotional detachment from old identities. See, the moon is it's ready to, it's designed to upgrade your internal operating system. You got to be the one to start to be willing to express yourself from this new vibration. Because where your mind once operated from fear, scarcity, childhood script, survival mode, it is now shifting towards mastery, clarity, self-trust, internal authority. Who the fuck gonna check you? Embodied intelligence. Because this is an ego death of old perspective. That old persona gotta die. Cause Mercury rules Gemini. So Mercury direct on the Gemini full moon is like a veil lifting from the mind. So this brings clear communication, mental refreshing, right? More decisiveness, not indecisive shit. So the restored intuition, now I can finally trust my gut. The messages are becoming more clear, they're coming in more clear. So there can be a sudden sense of direction. Now I know what to do. Now I know exactly which way to go. I just had a couple of these realizations over the last couple of days, because the moon is transiting with my son, and so it's transiting in the seventh house. All right. So when you know exactly where this is transiting, you can understand what areas of your life you might be receiving these sudden nudges or sudden sense of direction. So don't hesitate to book that $99 breakdown for yourself, and make sure you get that breakdown. It'll come with a personal ritual for you for tomorrow as well. And for those of you who've already paid, I will be sending y'all's out throughout tonight and tomorrow, before the full moon, so y'all to have it. All right. So you could have been mentally foggy or internally conflicted over the past 3 weeks. So now you know what you want and how to say it. If you know what you want and how to say it at this point, because you don't realize all the shit you don't want, and you tired of being in loops to where you ain't say the shit, and all you had to do was say it, because sometimes saying some shit end a whole lot of bullshit. If you are in this energy, put a 3 in the chat for me. All right? Put a 3 in the chat. Now, can y'all still hear me? I want to make sure I'm just doing a mic check. Can y'all still hear me? Am I loud and clear? Am I?
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right, big. Appreciate it. Now, you can expect a lot of important conversations to happen. The green lights and approvals, not red flags, not red lights. Okay, so accept this on go time, baby. Trust the shit. Move with it. Flow with it. All right. New contracts or beginnings. Revisiting something from the retrograde with clarity. All right, could definitely happen during this time for you. Now, what you learned during retrograde now becomes wisdom. Okay. And this is what I was saying a while ago. If Diamond, if you still in here, I was saying this a while ago. If you want to come in and chime in, I know we talked a lot about Saturn going direct. I'll be going off into these transits in a few minutes. But if you did want to come in and talk about this Saturn going direct and the cars and this month and all that type of stuff, of course, feel free to just come off your mic, beloved, and I'll let you have it. All right. But with Saturn going direct, it's a reality shift, right? The fog lifts, discipline returns, karmic lessons finalized, right? You see long-term direction now. This is Sagittarius shit mixing with the Gemini. The responsibilities become more clear. Structure becomes easier. Boundaries become non-negotiable. See, this is called Saturn going direct in Aries, okay? So with this going direct in Aries, you can finally get a sense of direction. You get what I'm saying? And what Saturn is asking you, what are you building? What is the long-term plan? What must you commit to? I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, even I'm in this, in my Saturn is in Virgo. Okay. So you know, your grown-up self finally steps in. This is what the Saturn going direct at this cycle. Combined with the Gemini moon, this creates the vibration of mental maturity, emotional wisdom, soul aligned responsibility, commitment to purpose. So it marks the end of a karmic cycle, right? That began in 2023. Okay. So you'll see this cycle kind of began in 2023 with a lot of this Aries energy that when the Aries, we had Aries in the North Node and Libra in the South Node. All right. So this 2025, this universal year of a nine, it's the year of completions, endings, karmic release, the burning of old identities. All right. And when you're talking about karma, and this is what I was saying a while ago about karma. This is what me and the beloved Don, I brought this up and it was so beautiful that I wanted to just repeat it again tonight. Because when you're talking about karma, karma is what you create. And I was saying, imagine karma, because Gemini is like a neighborhood, right, that you grew up in, right? Imagine a trail in your neighborhood. And you know how a trail works? Everybody walk that trail for so long. I don't give a damn how much grass grow. It's gonna grow around the trail. The trail gonna always be visible. You can go back to some of your old neighborhoods, and some of these trails might still be there. All right. Now, when you're talking about karma, I want you to view the way you move and the things, the steps that you take to get to where you want to go as this trail. And you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. This becomes your karma. You're taking the same beaten path. And if you want to release the karma or break the karma, you got to be willing to go a different direction. So that means you got to be willing to do something, not knowing a lot of times what the fuck is coming next. That's why the South Node is in Virgo, the North Node is in Pisces. What is the next step if you ain't got the faith to take it? Will you take the next step even though you can't see the stars, you can't see the trail? Or you willing to create a trail, blaze a motherfucking trail? See? So are you going the same way that everybody else was going? Or you doing the same things over and over, expecting different results? Has this been a repeat for you over the last 9 years? This is why a lot of people tired of their jobs. This is why a lot of people tired of relationships. This is why a lot of people sick and tired of being sick and tired right now. Cause you in a loop and you ready to end it. That means you can't blame karma. People like to use karma for, a weapon and shit. But in actuality, karma is what you create because it's what you can release. So if you take a different path and you blaze a new trail, you can start to create new karmic experiences. But if you're experiencing the same thing in the last 2 months, in the last year, the last 2 years, the last 10 years, you're in a loop. And it's time for you to break that loop and do something different. All right. So that's why these 9 year cycles are going to be ending. It's like the final squeeze, the final purification flame, baby. And the 9 year cycles are ending the identity patterns, the karmic contracts, the emotional debts, the outdated belief system, the stories you've outgrown, their inner child loops, those soul contracts in relationships, right? Think of the 9 year as a composting year, the decaying of the old to feed the new, because your shit can become your fertilizer. That's if you use it as such, okay? So this Gemini full moon is like the last breath before we inhale the new decade cycle of the global year of a one. All right. And with this wood snake year, it's gonna be definitely bringing about, because the snake year is always karmic, psychological, transformative, but the wood snake specifically governs mental alchemy, strategy, transition, shedding skins, right? Reclaiming your inner power. This is intuition sharpened, the emotional detox. That's why we done had a lot of water energies influence us over this last few years. All right. And the wise communication. So now it's at the end of the snake year. This full moon symbolized the final shedding, the last layer of an old identity, the completion of a psychological cycle, a return to inner sovereignty. You just got to be willing to go within and claim it. That's it. So this the moment when you recognize I'm not who I was at the beginning of this year at all. Okay. So when you're dealing with some of the thematic themes, the synthesis, and also what the full moon activates, clarity of thought, your mind becomes transparent, the final release of mental clutter, old narratives resolved, communication cleanup. You say what you avoided all year. Karmic endings, a cycle closes, weight lifts, right? The integration of this year's lessons, everything suddenly clicks. The timeline shift into a new year one frequency so you can become ready for new purpose, new partnerships, new identity, new direction, baby. It's rewriting your personal myth. So you begin crafting the story of who you are becoming, not who you've been. All right. So
Sensei.
talk to me.
Diamond is back. She's texting. I know you can't see the text in the
Uh-huh.
thing.
Diamond, where you at?
I'm here. What's up?
What's up, beloved? Let me see the text. Did you want to pop your shit?
What?
I don't know. You tell me. Let me hold on. Let me get back to the screen. But I
Oh
know when we
no.
get to
Oh
the
no.
dates, I know you definitely if you want to drop something about the car. I know with this month as well, what we moved into. I know we talked a lot about that, even with the aspects of Mercury, and I know you dialed a lot off into the Mercury card, especially dealing with cardology. So for a lot of you who don't know cardology, for a lot of you who might not know Diamond, this is a master cardologist. Diamond is a pillar in the community, all this good shit, an elder, a lot of respect, a lot of love for Diamond. And she talks heavily on the cards. She's heavily versed in astrology, all this shit, numerology. But her main judge is the cards and understanding how these cards play out. And you also have a card layout for your life. It's called a spread, right? You got a spread. You got a life spread. And in that spread, just like you have a Mercury placement, you have a Mercury card. All right. So this energy, because it's Gemini rulership or whatever the case may be, even if you got like 5 energy in your card spread or whatever the case may be, all these things are affecting us on different levels. And if you understand certain levels of your cards and certain levels of the way you move and the way you operate, it'll help you understand how you can move under this moon. All these are tools to make the job easier, baby. That's it. So whenever you want to pop your shit, Diamond, if there's anything that you want to jump in on, don't hesitate. All right, I'll yield the mic to you if you want to pop something about the cars or whatever the case may be. All right, so I know we're gonna get to these dates. If you want to wait till we get to the dates, or if you want to talk now about that Saturn going direct, or even the car for this month, you can definitely do that, beloved, if you feel like it.
Okay. Well, yeah. There's a lot of significance to this month because it's a King of Spades month, and this is the month where you literally are sitting with yourself. Excuse me, and it being the end of the year, it's that review. And it's not by no strange coincidence that it's set up that way, right? And it starts off spade season, and we know spades are fire. So we got a lot of good energy around us. The thing is that it's been used against us for so long. And you said something earlier when you were talking about solvency. And that's the key. The key is that we have to get back to the time where our ancestors knew. And winter time is a time where, the trees, everything is stripped down to the bare bones. And instead of us using that nature and stripping ourselves down to the bare bones, is where we tend to try to get a little busier. And like you said, it's like, not wanting to really sit with yourself, not really wanting to be with yourself. So this month, more than any other time, is significant with these 9 years because it's a 9 and a half year. It's those endings, it's letting go. It's like looping over those or over time. It's like, what is it that you need to
You're a
say?
big girl.
Just- What is it that you need to tell somebody? What is it that has been on your mind for a long time? Maybe you don't say it. Maybe you just write a letter, and then burn it. But you have to release it because wintertime is a time where spades is getting down to the bare bones. Spades are going to break you. You may have been broken for so long that you just comfortably uncomfortable. But spades break you and say, now what are you going to do? Now that I've taken everything from you, now what are you going to do? And this is where we start to build. So as we let go of everything now and we go into this new 1 year, we'll start to build. So we got to leave stuff on this side. And I know it sounds like it could be hard, but it can't be any harder than you holding on to stuff that is it's just burdensome. Being in relationships that don't work, being on jobs that don't work, doing things every day that doesn't nourish your who you really are. It's like you can imagine when you step out there and you have faith and the universe starts dancing at your feet. I promise you, it's gonna happen. It can happen and you could look back and miss it and say, "Dang, that was a good opportunity." Or you could just go for it.
That is dope, Diamond. I mean, yeah, I heard that wisdom. I mean, shit, because the spiritual food, like that, because, man, because what information are you consuming? And if you've been sitting around watching gossip and watching reality TV, and I know we like to binge watch, and we like to get our fixes of the Real Housewives and all of the shit that's out there now, but is this shit feeding your soul though? And this what happens when you actually run across information that can be life changing. Your mind, you become so desensitized, and like what Diamond said, you become so comfortable in being uncomfortable to where when you do receive some information that can actually change your life, you don't move on the shit because you don't value it the same way because you're still basing this narrative that you don't recognize that this information it can change my life. Just me moving on something and me getting this ounce of clarity. Like, how many times do you need the universe to drop clarity in your lap? How much more clear do things? See, this what happens when you don't make these choices and decisions for yourself. And Domino, I love to say, goddamn it, the planets start making decisions for you. You don't want Gemini making decisions for you because it's gonna come with gossip. It's gonna come with lies. It's gonna come with some tricks. You understand what I'm saying? See, everybody say tricks are for kids and all this old shit, right? But when you truly know that you can trick yourself by not honoring the shit that Diamond just said, and you get caught up in this loop and you thinking that somebody else tricking you. This how we can play tricks on our own self by not honoring the self-talk patterns. So that's why I love what Diamond just said, because the vocal tone, because the throat chakra clearing, the sound release, the vocal toning, the writing and speaking truth. And she just said, write a letter. Read something aloud. That mental detox, right? These are small mini rituals that I'm giving y'all. She could have spoke to it without knowing I'm gonna go into this shit. So write them down. Whatever beliefs you need to release, the fears you want to dissolve, the self-talk patterns you want to shift, burn or bury that shit under air or wind around this motherfucker. See, this how you utilize the elements. I don't be trying to give you all this old bullshit to where people like, oh, you gotta do this. You can, man, listen, this an air element. You lighting fire with air. I just gave you Gemini. Anytime you light a candle and you write something down, you just ignited Gemini and Sagittarius because you're starting to rewire your communication. Your hands are ruled by Gemini, hence why a lot of people now like to love to text and use their thumbs. You think, oh, they don't want to use their word. They still using their word, they just typing them. But now people want to abbreviate shit. See, the mind is becoming lazy. So this the end of a cord cutting. See, this year is about a cord cutting, baby. A karmic release of attachments. Everything that Diamond said them spades represent, right? And knowing that during December, and I talked about this, remember detail to D anything, to defrost, to D whatever, December. And Deca means 10, but it's a 12 month. They already playing tricks on our mind. They utilize Gemini. Don't get me started on that shit. Cause this is why we go through indoctrination. This is why we have to use our hands to learn the goddamn spelling words. And you basically putting yourself under a loop. You basically putting yourself in a curse. Literally. That's why they have to take us through school. And they gotta take us through elementary. Gemini rules elementary school. Have anybody ever skipped elementary and went straight to high school? If you do, they consider you a genius. That's Aquarius shit. You skip out of the shit and you go straight to a degree. You get what I'm saying? Like, so honoring how we can skip steps with our own fucking mental because you're ready to graduate. That's the quickness that the earth is always operating in. Everybody want a microwave effect. You want to wake up tomorrow, everything in your relationship all right, and you don't want to have these talks. You don't want to sit with yourself. So it's a timeline closing ceremony. All right. This is like writing a letter to your 2025 self and end it with a I now release this cycle. This is neuro linguistics reprogramming, you know. And I got programs that'll help you out more in depth with this too if y'all want to book that. Okay. So choose one new core affirmation that reflects an identity you're stepping into. So what this full moon like means for you personally, like does this moon activate your voice, your choices, your mental ownership, your truth, your spiritual autonomy, right? You exit 2025 with clearer thinking, deeper wisdom, cleaner boundaries, stronger intuition, a renewed sense of direction. So this is a moon of a new you emerging. The mind first. You gotta shift with the mindset first, baby. Why do you think so many people go to the gym and they like, it ain't working? See, that's why I tell, even in sports are 90% mental, 10% physical. So where the mind goes, the body must follow. See, a message from this moon, and a lot of these, I got a lot of these messages throughout this time. You know, I'm a Gemini. I got a lot of messages from this goddamn moon. You cannot carry old stories into your new destiny. All right? The moon wipes the slate clean. The mind resets. The karma dissolves. The new chapter begins the moment you admit the truth of who you are now. Right now, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Who the fuck are you now? Some people get so caught up in reinventing themselves that you still trying to run from who you are today. You gotta accept who you are now if you want to transform and transmute into somebody else. That means you gotta stop lying to your goddamn self. So that mind reset, the emotional memory release, the nervous system reboot. This is the axis of perception and wisdom, baby. So this lunation lands as a psychic windstorm through the collective mind, making it one of the most important energetic tuning points of the decade. We won't have another full moon of this nature until 2040. Just to give y'all the context on that. All right. Like another super moon in Gemini, it ain't gonna
Yeesh.
happen to 2040. Right? So I'm telling y'all how dynamic this moon is right now. Okay. So I know we always have Gemini moons and full moons and shit, but when you understand the cycles of the impacts, even how next summer a lot of things are going to be going direct in 6 months. Remember, I told y'all, so this can give us a glimpse. If you can start right now what you want to do in the summer. You can start planning right now. This is futuristic shit. I'm giving you some Aquarius shit. But if you still caught up in a loop, you better deal with where you are right now before you start thinking about the future, or you're going to create anxiety. And that's going to build frustration. And then that's going to lead to depression. Because you're going to start measuring yourself by the shit you think you. I told you, if you think you don't know. So when you envision, you got to embody. All right. And that's if that ain't a spade life, I don't know what the fuck is. You hear me? So humanity in 2025 is mentally overstimulated. Think about this shit. Informationally overwhelmed, information overload, emotionally numb in pockets, straight up, spiritually awakened in waves, and socially fragmented around this motherfucker. We people are socially fragmented, man. Like people are all over the place socially because people are holding on to their traumas and they won't allow them to integrate. You can't have no true integrity if you're not willing to integrate past your own bullshit. And a lot of people ain't said what they said long enough to even know what the fuck that looks like, let alone feels like. So a Gemini full moon in this climate doesn't just illuminate the mind, it exposes it. I want y'all to be mindful of this shit. You're gonna really get to see how people really think and how they really fucking feel. Don't listen to people with a deaf ear right now. I really want you to really use both ears and one mouth, knowing when to shut the fuck up. And if somebody literally tells you who they are right now, believe they ass. I'm telling you. Somebody slip up and say some shit that they probably been wanting. It's like, you been wanting to tell me that, ain't you? Yeah. When you hear that, just trust your discernment. You be like LeBron if you need to. Just pack your bags and get the fuck out. Okay? Because with Aries and Neptune and shit, with Saturn, the law can get involved real quick. I'm just telling you how this shit can go. This shit can go from a conversation to a fight to a shootout in a matter of fucking 5 minutes. Tell you right now. Before you know it, we in a goddamn hospital because somebody didn't know when to shut the fuck up and when to walk away. So don't be running around like you ain't got shit to lose, because you might run across somebody who's actually living it. Okay? So with this energy, Saturn going direct, Sagittarius season after deep retrogrades in the shadow waters of Scorpio. All right, this is what's happening. The planet receives a collective mind body renewal. Some people ain't ready to let shit go, y'all. Some people are not ready to let go of old narratives, even if it's an old narrative of you. Some people will hold on to the unhealed version of you, to the part of you that lied to them, to the part of you that, and if you don't see a change in this person, it's a reason why you holding on to that version of that person, because they ain't changing. Okay? So don't lie to your motherfucking self and don't create delusions for yourself because you can break them with honesty and transparency. So the moon becomes a portal, a neurological, metaphysical reset. All right. And it's going to start to reset the mind. All right. And the things of this in the current state of humanity is literally like we're currently cycling through fractured attention, digital fragmentation, overstimulation. Cognitive dissonance is going to be very loud right now. Polarized belief systems and shit. I believe in this, you believe in that, right? Emotional congestion, right? Because a lot of people get emotionally congested and then it comes out of their fucking mouth and it comes out of their actions. This is when you start to see people like, damn, how long you been holding on to that shit? How much years of shit are you holding on to? You know them Debbie Downers and shit, the people who choose to see the fucked up shit in every goddamn thing? They emotionally congested. They don't even know how to come out of an emotional state, and they still tying shit in to some childhood shit that they don't know how to let go of. All right. Psychic exhaustion, picking up too many thoughts, intrusive ass shit. Everybody, all thoughts are not your own. Being able to discern your own thought forms versus the mental or the hive mind is very, very powerful right now. And this can lead to a lot of disassociation, some identity confusion. Okay, so don't get caught up in that fog in that loop. And the only way you break an identity confusion by accepting and acknowledging that I don't know who the fuck I am. That's when real shit start happening. So it can be a narrative warfare. People can be at war with narratives right now. All right. So a loss of trust in institutions and information. That's the Sagittarius shit. I don't trust this shit no more. And rightfully so. Cause we've been taught to reread one book and we can know God. We've been taught just Gemini and Sagittarius. You remember a bunch of shit, you was a smart motherfucker. You can regurgitate the whole Bible, you can regurgitate the alphabets or the dictionary and shit. You can say these words and all this old shit. You was a smart motherfucker. But when reality kicks in, some of these smart motherfuckers panic like a motherfucker, right? So it's like when Gemini rules the information and Sagittarius rules the belief. See, Gemini rules the information that you gather, and Sagittarius is what you believe behind the shit that you done gathered. The collective is caught between what I heard versus what I believe, what I think versus what I know, what I fear versus what is true. That takes a lot of internal discernment. But if it's rooted in ideologies and beliefs, this is when you get the ego-sensitive nature, the egocentric nature. This is when pride comes out. You feel what I'm saying? So the full moon is going to force a synthesis. It becomes a collective exhale, a mental detox, right? This is like a closure of narrative loops that humanity has been stuck in since the pandemic, okay? And the digital acceleration that followed. They set us down with the pandemic, made everybody work from home and all this old shit and start flooding our ass with information. That's what the fuck they did. All type of shit. People emotions and people just fall in a wave of information. Don't even know they've been thrust into the world of Gemini. And you a whole fucking the goddamn me council or some shit. And wondering why you been feeling so mentally over fucking whelmed. Cause this renewal of this new moon, cause see this full moon into this new moon, it's gonna be dynamic. Because this Gemini is gonna be about the thought process. And Gemini is the neural synapses, the mental pathways, the stories, the words that shape the identity, the mind that shapes perception. Sagittarius is perspective. Sagittarius is the meaning, the integration, the truth seeking, the expanding worldview. See, this is why a lot of Sagittarius people are well fucking traveled, right? Because if you ain't traveled there physically, you only went in your mind or you read a book or a brochure or some shit, right? Then you talk to somebody who actually been to fucking Dubai. You can hear this all the time. Motherfucker talking like, yeah, then you ask me, you ever been there? They be like, no. Well, how you gonna try to tell me what's there and I've been there, motherfucker? These are the type of why you having conversation with people like that? See, this type of shit I'm saying. Why you gonna argue with somebody who ain't had the experience that you had and trying to tell you about it? Man, you wasting your time. You hear me? See, this full moon is going to be an illumination and a release. A full moon in Gemini illuminates thought patterns that cannot go forward into the new year or the new cycle. When you're dealing with Mercury and Saturn stationing direct, this is mental correction here, okay? So after retrogrades in Scorpio, right, the deep unconscious excavation, because that's what Scorpio did. It went in there and did some work, like a surgical, goddamn me, psychological technician that it is, the alchemist, right? The planets going direct, they restore clarity, direction, stability, coherence, and truth. So this create what is known as a mind renewal portal. All right. So this is a shift from fragmented thinking into integrated insight, reactive responses into conscious responses, emotional memory loops into emotional clarity, the nervous system contraction into healthy expansion. All right. So this moon is where humanity reclaims mental sovereignty. If you're ready to reclaim sovereignty over your goddamn mental, put a 9 in the chat. We just gonna end the loose with the 9. We're gonna claim it with the 9. So the Scorpio retrograde season dredged up ancestral trauma, karmic attachment, sexual wounding, shadow desires, emotional enmeshment. All right. And this is also going to deal with psychic fears, subconscious fears coming up, old psychic debris. So for the last 2 months, humanity marinated in a collective shadow. Then the nigga just dropped Diddy. Then he just dropped a Scorpio shadow. Then he just put that on Netflix, the shadow side of a Scorpio. That's the side of a lot of motherfuckers. There's a lot of people into shit like that. I'm from the hood. I know a lot of freaking motherfuckers like to get high and lock themselves in rooms and shit. Y'all act like Puffy the only one doing this kind of shit. I don't know why people be playing. That's Gemini. Act like that shit didn't go on. Act like the molestation and the rape didn't go on in your house, in your neighborhood. Uncles and aunties and all this old shit. How much trauma we got buried, and we like to look at other motherfuckers and shun them for it, as if goddamn me somebody in your family ain't done some of the same shit. They just ain't famous. They probably famous at the family reunions and shit though. See. So for the last 2 months, we done had to marinate in the shadow. Now the Gemini full moon, direct planets, right? It's like this. It's in Sagittarius. You know, these emotional memory body receives airing out, clarification, right? This is like being able to metabolize some shit, right? Neutralization, release from looping narratives. So what the emotional body held as truth is now reevaluated by the mind. The lunar portal essentially says the story you told yourself about your pain is not the truth of who you are. I'm gonna say that one more time. The story you told yourself about your pain is not who you are. I started to put one of my old sayings, but I like this new one here, right? And the old one is you are not your pain, you are not your trauma, you are not your psychological drama. That shit is yours, but it's not you. Use your shit as fertilizer. So the expansion versus contraction, the Gemini Sagittarius axis, the axis of karmic breath cycle, cosmic breath cycle. Gemini inhale information, taking in data, right? Sensation, stories, perception. Sagittarius exhale the meaning of the shit. You see how I just gave you the cosmic inhale and exhale? Because you inhale, anytime you inhale, you take information in, you're inhaling it. And what you put out is the exhale. Sagittarius. That's why you can be completely wrong about some shit. You can hear some shit and be like, damn, oh, that one right. Yeah, it's okay. So listen a little bit more, gather a little bit more information. Then you can say, oh, okay, now I see. Now I see. See, you see the I see? Sagittarius is I see. So releasing what doesn't align, keeping the wisdom, expanding understanding. All right. And but the first three must be contraction, challenge thoughts, destabilized beliefs, uncomfortable truths. You know what's that scene? The firm that movie with Tom Cruise and them and what's Jack Nicholson and shit. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the motherfucking truth. Can you handle the truth? Right. So, just be mindful. Be careful what you ask for out here in this reality, because motherfuckers be wanting the truth and then it's revealed to them. They be like they about to die. Oh my God. I knew it. Yeah, you asked for it. Don't be asking for the truth and you can't handle it, goddamn. So, this energetic formula, right? This is like contraction, Scorpio, integration, Gemini, expansion, Sagittarius. Remember that formula. Practice it. If you really understand where your Scorpio, your Gemini, your Sagittarius in, you'll understand your formula. Okay? So if you got, this is where the cards, all this shit come into play. This is where you can understand where like how your energy moves, right, on a more interpersonal level. So once again, don't hesitate to book that personal breakdown if you want a more in-person view of how this moon is affecting you and your energy. So the Gemini full moon represents the mental integration phase, the moment when a thought process is challenged so deeply that it transforms into wisdom. And you ever sit with a thought so motherfucking long to where you came out and was like, God damn, that's what the fuck? Like it just hit you like, and sometimes it happens on the toilet. Y'all know that statue of old boy sitting like that and he got his hand up to his chin and he just sitting there pondering, right? So Socrates, right, sitting on the throne, the toilet. I'm just telling you how this shit go. You probably gotta shit some shit out, is what I'm telling you, man. You know. But you holding on, a lot of people constipated in the mind. And you know that shit ain't transforming into wisdom. It's keeping you in a loop. You identifying with it and it hurts, it's the uncomfortable truth, you know? And that can equate to why you dealing with parasitical energy. And your mind, you could be feeding parasites and this could become demonic. You can create an entity. How your mind can create demons and shit based off fears. Now I ain't gonna turn this into that workshop because they might scare the shit out of a lot of y'all. But when you talking about how real it is, how your fears manifest in this reality, and the shit that becomes stagnant it can mirror itself. That's Gemini. The mundane will always mirror what the fuck you thinking. Now, this is where humanity collectively says, what if the beliefs I inherited are incomplete? Ooh, child. What if my worldview needs updating? Somebody needs to update. It's a motherfucker running around here still holding on to old shit from goddamn me 1920 and 1910. They ain't even lived back then. They done studied history so long, they're a prisoner of the motherfucker. So what I've been, even motherfucker who studied Kemet and all this shit, like straight up, we ain't in Kemet no more. Like, we ain't in Ethiopian Kush no more. Like we in America like a motherfucker. Yeah, this is 2025, baby. Like fuck all of that shit. So, what if I've been limiting myself with outdated thinking? What is the truth beneath the story? See, this actually teaches wisdom is the child of disrupted thinking. You don't miss that now. Wisdom is the child of disrupted thinking. Awakening is the child of questioned beliefs. Don't miss that philosophy. Don't miss that sensei philosophy right there, okay? Wisdom is a child of disruptive thinking. Awakening is the child of questioned beliefs. This is the natural essence of Gemini Sagittarius polarity. The nervous system, being impacted is going to be causing us to purge a lot of this mental overstimulation. The thoughts could rush, then they can calm, like they can suddenly just calm down after that. There's going to be a lot of end of a lot of mental hypervigilance. All right. So the Scorpio retrograde create a lot of emotional vigilance, right? The Gemini full moon wants to release it. So the restoration of the cognitive clarity, the fog lifts, the inner voice quiet. You know what I'm saying? The mind clicks, baby. I love when I do readings and consultations and shit, and I see people's mind click. It's just so beautiful, right? Because you can see the eyes start to move and people body language change. Clarity, boy. Enlightenment, baby. It does something to you. Some shit get lighter when you get some clarity and some real goddamn words, some knowledge. You understand? The word will move you. But this ain't church. You understand? Your body is the church. All right. So the higher neuropathic neural pathways, the intuition strictness, the reason sharpens, the insight strikes like lightning. That's that Thor energy. All right. That's that Shango energy. Right. The parasympathetic reset. Right. Remember I talked about the sympathetic nerve, the parasympathetic nerve, because right now the sympathetic nerve comes online, so the parasympathetic nerve can rest. That's basically essence what Dom was saying too. So during the wintertime and during the fall, what falls? What is falling is that part of your autonomy that was so on go. It has a lot to do with this Christ or the sun dying across the southern crooks for 3 days and then being resurrected. It has a lot to do with your vitality and your sympathetic nerve versus your parasympathetic nerve. This seasonal time is a time of less stress, more rest. All right. So once the emotional body releases old memory, the nervous system relaxes. It's a natural consequence. A lot of people think it's a lot of shit that you got to do, but once again, things are consequential in this reality. Okay, so the throat chakra, Gemini, clarity, truth, confident speech. All right, people like, how sense how you speak? Because I embody my shit. I'm confident about what comes out of my mouth because I'm very aware of what the hell I'm saying. I don't just say shit. My words, I even took myself through certain practices. Y'all don't heard me talk about this shit, but I ain't done it in a long time though. But at one point I counted my words for about a good year. It made me shut the fuck up. And some days I challenge myself to only speak 500 words. See, this is like bringing Sagittarius into play. I don't got to say a lot of words, salad ass shit for you to get the point. So sometimes I might have to season it with a little cuss word to re-enter. You get what I'm saying? See, this is why they starting to scientifically prove people who curse, People who use curse words occasionally, whatever the case may be, can be a little bit more authentic than normal people who don't. Cause I ain't trying to mask my words to fit what the fuck you feel. If
Are
you
you
don't like me
fucking
cussing,
kidding me right now? You
you
really
hear me?
fucking saying that?
you, you hear me, Diamond? They got side, they Diamond, they literally done proved this to be true. So people who try to mask your throat chakra, some people got some weak ass throat
Please
chakra,
come
man.
here. What you
So
doing?
being able to use your throat chakra and being able to say it and say
What you
unapologetically,
saying about?
unashamed. And the third eye is heavily influenced by Sagittarius, the expansion of perception. This
What
is
were they laying on?
Jupiterian energy, right? This is the intuitive correction, the
What?
deeper understanding, the ability to see the larger pattern in things is very Jupiter Sagittarius like. Sagittarius people can naturally see this, but sometimes the bigger picture can make the details seem like they're drowning. So you can drown in details and it can make it harder to see the bigger picture. You can get so caught up in the
Yeah,
bigger picture to where you don't see the
the
details.
small details.
You see,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
got to be able to meet in the middle. There's a nice place to just kind of sit and see it all playing out, see the big vision, but know along the way, these small details have to play out. We can use the details as small goals along the way to a bigger vision. All right. You want to create a store, you got to first get the LLC, you got to get the things, you got to start getting the demographic. Before you just go buy the building, you don't just jump and go buy the goddamn building. You ain't built you get what I'm saying? So sometimes we jump out and we get too far ahead of ourselves if we don't honor the details because we so caught up in where we're going. So your Jupiter placement can dictate or tell you why you might not always see the truth in what's in front of you because you so focused on where you want to be. So don't get so caught up in where you're going till you want to honor where the fuck you at. See, this is why sometimes we can't be patient with ourselves and the mind takes over and now you're restless. You ain't cool with just being right here, right now. It's his presence being cultivated. And then the truth becomes so much more clear. Think about any moment where you sit with that. That's crown chakra shit. Because the crown chakra doesn't dwell in structure. So that's why it's a mutable air activation, the divine insight, the sudden realization, the mental downloads, the quantum comprehension. Because if I think it, I can feel it. But if I'm disjointed, if I'm desensitized or I'm numb, that I think that the thought is not attached to an emotion, all I feel is anxiety. So instead of using anxiety and the fear as excitement, you see the flip? I'm not afraid. I'm excited because I know it's happening. My senses are overstimulated because I've already projected myself into the thing. I ain't even in the building yet. I ain't even had the conversation yet. I ain't even called the person yet. But I already feel it like it's already happening. That's the power that the mind has. But if you get corrupted by it, you will become a prisoner of it. And then you get stuck. And then the frustration, and depression, now something about you ain't moving. So when you're dealing with the comedic roots, because I gotta bring this into play because this is what helps me, right? What helped me get to this place of deeper understanding on a spiritual level with these energies. Gemini like archetype is Shasette plus D Jehudi or Tahuti. Now they call that Thoth in Greek. It had the star of the head. She now Tahuti and it represented the head of the ear. Um, he this aspect of who I think even heard all of
And
that
say you breaking up.
was him what to do. Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, now
Appreciate
we
that. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, bet. Now, when you're dealing with the ibis bird and how you see the long beak, right? And you see this depicted a lot in the hieroglyphs connected to Tahuti. That bird, if you watch that bird, if you look up clips of the ibis bird and the way it like goes and it forages in the mud, it look like it's writing. It look like a typewriter. So this is where the ancestors began to anthropomorphize and put an animal's head and depict it on a human because it shows an aspect of ourselves. So Shashat is the sacred scribe keeper of the stars, and Tahuti is the one that brought it down to earth and scribes your life. That's Mercury energy. This is the feminine and the masculine principles that go with it. So the rulers of language, writing, knowledge, and memory, the keepers of the Akashic records. Now hold on now. Hold on. So if you go beyond the loop, I gotta give y'all this, right? Because if you go beyond the loop of the memory that you've created, okay? This happens when people life flash before their eyes, right? If you go beyond the loop of the karma or the memory that you created, and you break past these memory bodies, your emotional memory, your mental memory, your autonomic memory, all these different things, your memory, the way your intelligence is set up, you have the memory of every incarnation of your whole entire existence embedded in your being right now. Can you access that though? So this is why you will see the ancestors utilizing these energies and opening the way up for these energies to be able to access the Akashic record energy and to be able to see back into certain lives and certain forms and understand that the mind is a tool. That's why they always use the eye of Horus, the third eye. That's why it was so prevalent throughout Kemet, because they understood the power of the pineal and the pituitary gland. Jupiter is the ruler of the vagus nerve. I'm giving y'all the signs behind this shit. Jupiter rules the vagus nerve. That means it rules your pigment chain and the way information moves up your spine. All right. So if you open up the petals of your chakras, which is what they call the lotus, and all these things open up. The sexual memory, right? The emotional memory, right? I'm talking about the root and the sacral, and then it opens up to the organ memory, which becomes like this solar plexus, and why your food, why your body, what you eat becomes you. Do you know that's memory? It's the same way soil is set up. If I was to take a mango tree and I plant that motherfucker, how does the soil know to grow a mango tree? This is memory at play. This is the mitochondria. Now, how does that play out in a whole aspect of how we're moving beyond these loops of memory? Well, Aquarius would dictate that we have to go see the man that burns water. That's what they say in the Bible. So if you go through a mental purging, your emotions follow. This is why water and those waves are associated with Newt and associated with Aquarius, which is the earth sign. Why do you think an earth sign has water waves next to it? Because water and air, what is water without oxygen? Where you see water, you see life. So if you cultivate the emotional intelligence, hence why Bruce Lee would say, your water can flow or it can crash. Once your intelligence, once these emotions are emoting, and once your chemistry is so, you think you ever need some dope or some drugs in your life? Your body being a chemical factory, being able to access any level of that chemical based off an emotion, because you have the mental power and the mental mastery to access that emotion at your will. Because you no longer live in an emotional state of connectivity, hence the level of detachment that Aquarius requires. So you see where we all going? You see what the intelligence, the quantum leap, it wants to push us into the autonomy to be at home and take full control of this vehicle, of this vessel. The vessel is the intelligence. You are the being that's operating it. Hence, when somebody dies, the eyes rolling back of the head and they leave the vessel. Somebody can be a vegetable. Somebody can literally be in a state of in between life and death. And they can start to see people that are dead and they still right here with you. I'm witnessing that shit right now. I witnessed it several times. So our mind has the capacity and the capability to tap into different lifetimes and different timelines, but it might break you if you're not careful. It might rob you of being present in this reality because you mentally shifted yourself somewhere else. Now imagine people are doing that on the lower end of the spectrum. Hence here comes suicide. Hence here come people saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because when you're dealing with a mediator between two worlds, Shasad and Tahuti, you scribe in your life. You can fool half the people half the time, but all the people none of the time, because you are part of the people. So I know I went a little deep with that. I went a little off script, but goddamn me, just understand the power of the energy of your mind and the power that you have as the entity, as the being, as the life force energy that is operating it, and your mind and your body are not separate from each other. Gemini expressed the written and the spoken word, the divine intelligence that travels. This is why thoughts travel. All right. And Sagittarius, like archetype, is Heru, Horus, the higher vision, the expansion, the truth, the justice, the cosmic perspective, the eye that sees beyond illusion. Together, these guys represent the mind to meaning, the fact to wisdom, perception to truth. You're able to make the mundane make sense because you have a higher perception of reality. I do this shit all the time. And people don't understand because we so used to reading books and scholarship, don't even understand the power of bringing heaven to earth. This is what Melchizedek, Solomon, all of them did in the Bible. These are characters, by the way. I just use biblical references because I know people still identify with biblical characters. That's not on me. I'm just going to honor and meet you where you are. So when you truly know that they've given us characters to represent astrological, planetary influences, and that's why there's a mythology behind the planets warring, going against each other, the gods fighting and shit. They talking about planets, y'all. They talking about transits and shit. That's what they talking about. I know that shit is hard to grasp. I know I'm presenting some information to some people, and they be like, what the fuck? But I'm just telling you, this is my Sag rising with my Gemini goddamn sun sign coming into play. Okay? So when you understand the axis of this journey, information, and enlightenment, see, Kemet understood this as this. Now, the Greek interpretation became they put associated with Gemini with Hermes and Mercury, the trickster, the translator, the mediator, right? The psychomp, right? The psychochomp, right? The psychopomp. Now, Sagittarius became Chiron. Really, really peep the plate, right? You have an asteroid in your chart called Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's also your gift to the world, right? Now, Chiron in mythology is this whole consort that they just passed around. Tell you straight up, right? It was a young man. See, this shit crazy. Go look it up. I bullshit you not. So the teacher, the seeker, the philosopher, the archer aiming towards truth, okay? Because this system highlighted Gemini, the mind, and Sagittarius, the wisdom. So the Roman interpretation, Hermes, Mercury, Chiron, Centaur, Sage. So the highest form of Sagittarius is the Centaur, the Sage, right? Now Apollo, the god of prophecy and insight. Apollo is the highest form of, of Gemini and Sagittarius. So Roman astrology solidified this polarity as the student Gemini and the sage Sagittarius. You see how they just Hellenized and copy like basically Tahuti, and they made it two like masculine principles. They took out the femininity of Shazet, and they just said the student and the sage. The sage is the woman. The sage is the feminine principle. So Sag is feminine. This is why Sagittarius is the energy of what's her name? Trinity in the Matrix. Trinity riding the motorcycle. Like that, she's Sagittarius. Okay. Neo is Gemini. He represents the Neo cortex. Think about how he fought against everything. No, this can't be true. Red or blue pill. Which one you gonna choose, Neo? Think about how he kept downloading information, and then Morpheus say, show me. Morpheus, the dream state of the mind, the subconscious, the Neptunian energy in your mind. See, archetypes, man. All these characters mimic the hero's journey. So how I translate today, humanity is caught up between infinite information, right? The Gemini
You are
side of
underwater
insufficient
again, my love.
wisdom, Sagittarius imbalance, and information, and nothing, fluff. misinformation, fragmented attention. Can y'all hear me now? Thank you. Can y'all hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Better.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, you're a little choppy, but we can hear you.
I bet. Thank you. Thank you. Let me know if yeah, let me know though. Let me know so
Okay, we
I
can
won't
hear you
keep
again.
talking
Now,
because I'll
now
be
you're
done
in the
started
matrix.
kept talking. So did y'all hear me at the humanity is caught up in between the infinite information and insufficient
Nope,
wisdom of Sagittarius?
you was in the
Oh,
matrix.
yeah, you went
Can y'all
back.
hear me now?
We can hear
Yeah,
Can
you.
now
y'all hear
you're
me now?
clear.
Okay, big. All right, so did y'all hear me when I was saying humanity is caught up in that infinite wisdom with Gemini and the insufficient wisdom of Sagittarius?
No, but we heard
Just
it
heard
now.
you said.
Okay, big. All right, so what I was saying was if you look at the astrology and the way the Romans did it, they took out the Shasset principle. They made the sage the feminine energy, right? And this is a Shasset principle, right? So when you taking away the power that we have to go above anything that we have gathered, that's what a sage does, right? And how it translates today is that we are caught up in this infinite information. That's the shadow side of Gemini. The insufficient wisdom is the imbalanced energy of the Sagittarius shit. People don't have the wisdom to discern all the information that's coming at them. This is leading to the overstimulation. And that's why the digital age created too much data, not enough meaning. The overstimulation, the fragmented attention, the mean based understanding. God damn. You know, we have literally been reduced to putting information
Sensei,
in a
we can't
meme.
hear you again.
And that's why a lot of people can't sit still, like to the beliefs of depth. People don't even need depth, no, they just want. So the Gemini full moon restores current humanity to Saturday belief and philosophy. Hold on. Can y'all hear me now? Okay, y'all hear me now?
Much better now.
Yes, better.
Okay, y'all hear me now? Is that better?
Better.
All right, big. Now, what did I stop at? What did y'all not hear me at?
Well, we couldn't hear what we couldn't hear, so I don't know where you were.
Okay. All right, what I was saying, so did y'all okay, I'm gonna go back to where I
It
was saying
was right around
humanity
here,
is
the too much data, right? Where
I
where you
bet.
are now.
I appreciate it. So that's what the digital age created, right? This energy of like too much data, right? The overstimulation, the fragmented attention. That's the meme-based understanding. We've been literally reduced to receiving information through memes and shit, you know? So it's like that whole thing about us being able to retain. And that's what I was saying a while ago about people can't even sit for 2 hours, 3 hours no more. I appreciate y'all for sitting through all this information. All right. Because the way this age is set up, it's so hard for people to sit still and receive. So that's why people want the South era now. You want to stop. That's the masculine principle trying to be rebirthed. All right. And it's going to take some femininity, some stillness, some truly just surrendering for that to happen. So this full moon restores cognitive coherence, preparing humanity for the Sagittarian expansion of belief, philosophy, and collective truth. So the collective mind, right, and what this awakening is like clarity about narratives of false, right? Renewed discernment, desire for truth over conspiracy or confusion, less emotional reactivity, more curiosity, deeper listening, seeking wisdom over noise. A lot of people ain't gonna want to hear no bullshit. It's gonna get to a point where people gonna want to hear something that's gonna be more based, wisdom based instead of gossip based. All right. So it's gonna be a greater ability to hold more complex perspectives, right? So being able to have conversations that are very in depth and not just so on the surface, and open, honest, authentic communication. This can be wanting to be rebirth, but making sure that you are dealing with people who are already on that. All right. So this moon is going to detox us through this global mental doorway, dissolving misinformation fatigue, healing emotional memory loops, calming the nervous system, challenging stagnant beliefs, sparking philosophical awakenings, making room for new worldviews, anchoring clarity for 2026's year of the one energy, preparing us for faster consciousness evolution. All right. So the collective shifts from like reacting to understanding, surviving to integrating, right? This is like fragmentation to synthesis. All right. This is like from information to wisdom, from fear to truth, come from contraction to expansion. All right. And another message that I put in here for this cold moon: the mind must share its old stories for the soul to rise. All right. So the moon releases old thoughts, stale beliefs, emotional memory loops, mental clutter, outdated narratives, fear-based perspectives, and opens a renewed mind, a clear emotional body, a stabilized nervous system, an expanded worldview, a wiser collective consciousness. Humanity is gonna step through this moon into the next layer of awakening. We are literally in the next layer of awakening, beautiful souls. All right. So here I'm gonna start talking about, where we're going into this full moon, and then I'm gonna get into some of these dates now. And if you see any of these dates that pop out in relation to the cards, you can definitely, chime in when we're dealing with this great unraveling of emotional memory release. This is the last full moon of 2025, landing in Gemini, the sign of thoughts, words, narrative, synapses, communication, interpretation of reality. Because it sits opposite Sagittarius, the sign of beliefs, meanings, truth, worldview, philosophical expansion, this moon forms the pillars of communication, the axis that rewires what you think, what you believe, what you perceive, what you interpret, what you remember, and what you speak into existence, baby. And just because it completes a 9-year numerology cycle, this lunation closes karmic communication loops. It clears trapped emotional memory, ends narratives that you've held for almost a decade. It dissolves identities shaped by the past thoughts, emotions, or past thought patterns. It shifts your belief system at the root. You just gotta allow it. So this month is a portal of mental, emotional, and karmic detox. And how December releases this 9-year cycle, because it's gonna close from 2017 to 2025. And Diamond had no idea I was putting this workshop together and talking about this. And she invited me in the room and she was talking about this. So that's what made me want her on this call. I was like, you gotta tap in because you had no idea I was putting this in this workshop, and we did a whole room on Clubhouse about it, right? And this 9-year cycle from 2017 to 2025, it closes with these karmic narratives ending, these old identities dissolving, this lingering emotional trauma rising for release, right? This is relationship contracts are completing, soul purpose alignment, returning to spiritual expansion, calling. The Gemini full moon initiates the mental release of that cycle. Sagittarius season invites or it initiates the belief system correction. Capricorn season initiates the embodiment and stabilization of the new timeline. This month works in the energetic stages. Scorpio emotional memory emerges, right? Retrogrades pull trauma, fear, shame, and suppressed emotions to the surface. Gemini, emotional memory is named and released. The full moon allows you to cognitively decode your emotional patterns. Sagittarius meaning is restored. Mind expands. Your worldview shifts in alignment with your soul's truth. Capricorn, you anchored the new identity. See, this is going season by season. Okay? Capricorn season, you're going to anchor in your new identity. The long-term path becomes more clear. See, we do the work now. When Capricorn season come, baby, you're going to be like, oh, I got the authority. Respect my authority. You understand? Like Cartman on South Park around this motherfucker, right? So it had the emotional memory body released this month. The emotional memory body holds unexpressed feelings, stored grief, unfinished conversations, unspoken truths, emotional freeze responses, heartbreak, childhood imprints, past life residue, relational trauma. Because Gemini rules the nervous system processing, this full moon acts as a mental defrag plus an emotional exhale. Right? It clears emotional memory by naming truth. When you speak the truth, emotional energy moves. When you speak or think the truth, emotional energy moves. Rewiring old stories. Gemini rearranges the narrative. Sagittarius reframes the meaning of the narrative. Okay? So that means you can move from a narrative of this hurt me It's like turning the wounds into wisdom, the losses into lessons. Okay, that's what the shift I'm talking about. The memory integration, because even with the sudden insights of breaking emotional loops, the Uranian activation brings lightning strike awareness. Okay, the memory integration, the story that no longer hurts because the mind no longer misinterprets it. So you can literally rewrite a narrative. I've done this around my mother's death, right? Once I rewrote the narrative that I lost somebody, oh my God, whatever the case may be. Don't get me wrong, this is not emotional or bypassing because I think about it every day, whatever I can label those emotions, but I don't live in them. Meaning that when I think of my mama, I smile. There is no more loop there that keeps me like, pulls me down. And this in the holiday season. Right, and I don't care how far removed I am from shit. My body still got memory of my mama being in the kitchen, my grandmama, cooking foods and, buying me shit for Christmas and me sneaking in the back of the truck to go Christmas shopping and she didn't know I was in the goddamn dog coop and all kind of shit, right? So the memories are there, but you can rewrite these stories, you know? So this is how we able to rewrite and rename these narratives, right? And no longer allow these things to hurt us because we don't misinterpret them from our own place of remaining the victim of shit. So communication, releasing stored emotions, right? Words free trapped energy because words create worlds. I should have put that there. This is the month. Emotional memory becomes metabolized, expressed, rewritten, and released. The body lightens, the aura clears, the nervous system relaxes, the timeline recalibrates. Now, this the trend. This is gonna be a little map of the transits. Now, I just did some little quick little keywords and things for you to look out for. Right, we in the third right now, so I had to start it on this day. Okay, so as of today, and what's the card for today? Diamond, is it in a heart? What's the card for today? Can y'all hear me?
Two of diamond.
Two of diamonds. Okay, big. So on the two of diamonds day, the moon is conjunct Uranus. All right, and this is an emotional shocks. This is sudden clarity, nervous system jokes, breakthrough. So this is a beautiful day to do this workshop. All right, because now you can use this moon conjunct Uranus to embrace this new information, and even the impact that it can have on your emotional body. It might not be so, intrusive because now these unexpected emotions can rise sharply, then release. So these unexpected emotions, you could have got a lot of clarity just from being in this workshop. All right, my Uranus is in Scorpio, so I came to wake some shit up. All right. So the highest potential of this is let the emotional revelation land, right? Journal. Don't suppress the shock. This is the crack in the shell before the full moon. Okay. So you dealing with this the fourth tomorrow, the actual cold full moon in Gemini. The key words will be exposure, communication, mental reset, release, right? This the impact will be the emotional memory body opens, right? The thought change break, the stories purge from the subconscious. Use it, speak the truth. Okay. Now, this is also going to be a good day to help reframe old narratives, allow your mind to shed outdated identity scripts. All right. And then on the 6th of December, we'll have Mercury trine Jupiter. This is going to bring a lot of optimism and expansion. Now, these are how the planets move. For those of you who are not familiar with astrology, every day there's something that happens in the cosmos and it may reflect a real life experience in your life. All right. Now, this could be like defining what could be transiting in your chart, in your birth chart. So, for those of you who has not gotten the full breakdown for yourself, once again, a personal breakdown, because for the people who do book it, I will be looking at these transits for your month of December. So I will be giving you how you can utilize these dates going forward, all right, for the month of December, and how these transits will impact you on a personal level, and how you can utilize. This is a collective breakdown. This is not a personal thing, all right? So I'm just giving y'all the collective. So some of this might apply to you, some of it might not, but on a collective level, we all gonna be experiencing this energy based off the way the planet's moving throughout the month of December, all right? So Mercury trine Jupiter, very powerful trine right here. Trine is where things come together to work to your highest good type shit, okay? A lot of optimism, expansion, good news, a lot of mental breakthrough. This is going to be, helping you understand your past decade differently. Your perspective widens. The old pain makes new sense. So use it, right? Write the new intentions in 2026. Say yes to opportunities that feel aligned. All right. And so what's tomorrow? Is it going to be three of diamonds? What's
Ace of diamond. Tomorrow, the fourth, is the
so
ace of
we coming
diamond.
out of the diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we coming out of the diamonds and going into spades, right?
Clubs.
Clubs, big. So, so that means that we'll be in the clubs on what? The 6th? Is that what that'll be, June?
So the sixth, yeah, we're gonna be going to the King of Clubs and King, Queen, Jack. So after the fourth, we're gonna have the King of Clubs that we're going
Yeah.
into the club season.
Okay.
Going into
I
clubs.
bet that. Now this makes sense with Mercury retrine Jupiter. The clubs are ruled by Mercury. You can't make this shit up, right? So, this is ushering in season 2. Then we got Mercury trine Saturn. Look at that. Look at this club shit though, for real. Mercury trine Saturn, right? And the grounding, the stabilization, the fall, the focus, right? The long-term clarity coming into play. Right? Your mind stops spinning, with Mercury trine Saturn, right? Because now they
Well,
working
check
together.
this out.
Trine,
Check this out, Sensei.
talk to me, Diamond.
That's a five of clubs.
On that
Mercury,
seventh.
Mercury, Saturn is no, just that the planet together.
Oh, just that
That's
alignment.
yeah, that's a five of clubs, and then it's Mercury, Saturn is a five of clubs. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be some serious. That's interesting. And
Yeah, cause
then
with that trend
Saturn.
now.
Then it's Saturn, it's Mercury, Saturn, and it's the five of clubs, and it's the Queen of Diamonds. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, and that diamond showing up with Saturn, that Earth, and that trine. It'll be a good shit to put some shit out there. It'll be a good time to implement that change, right? And that when you can see what you truly want. You get
And
what I'm
make some
saying?
deals. Queen of Diamonds is a dealer. So that's
Yeah.
kind of good. That's some good, really doing something. Definitely philanthropic because it's connected to that nine of diamonds. So it's going to be very philanthropic dealings for sure. Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
appreciate
then
that.
that's the five of clubs is your Uranus this year
It is.
in the collective. So yeah, like you was talking about looking at what you want to do, 6 months from now will be pretty good too.
Wow, you see, I heard that. So pay attention, like to these. When it's a trip, cause on that same day, the moon gonna be conjunct Jupiter. You know.
Oh wow.
So on that same day, we got though a conjunction with the moon and Jupiter, and we got a trine going on with Mercury and Saturn on the same day. So the uplifted emotion, the hope, the gratitude, the expansion, the emotional relief arises. A positive emotional reset with this conjunction. This is gonna be a break in the heaviness. And all this happening on that day. It's a good deal to make a deal with your own authority around this motherfucker and go for some shit you want. So use it. Practice gratitude. Engage in high vibration conversation. Like we definitely got to do a room on the 7th. So we definitely gonna be doing something on the 7th for sure, for sure. Now the
What was
8th
those
will
sensei?
have
Remember,
more express.
remember those 2 days you were
Hmm?
talking about? You was talking about was it the 10th and the 11th? Remember you
Uh-huh.
was
Oh, that we
talking
were talking
about
about
some.
going right before. Yeah, we were talking about this. What we talking about the solstice? Or no, we was talking about going into the new moon and shit. Yep.
Okay. So 10th and 11th. Okay.
The new moon will be on the 19th. I'm finna go over it too. So that Mars square Saturn on the 8th, y'all. So look out for that one. Don't push, observe. This is expression before breakthrough. December the 10th, we'll have that's the retrograde. That's what we were talking about, Diamond. The retrograde is gonna end. Neptune. All right. So
And you
Neptune
said on the
retrograde
10th?
ends.
On the
Ends on the
10th?
10th. Yep.
Okay, that's a eight of clubs day. That's gonna be some
What?
serious power. Yeah, that's black women coming online. I'm looking into that's some ritual right there. Okay.
hmm So
Okay.
Neptune retrograde gonna end, and y'all eight of clubs is a very Powerful,
Neptune.
polarizing card.
But it's Neptune. It's Mars
Yeah.
Neptune.
That's a trip, ain't it?
Yeah,
And the
man. We coming
retrograde
back.
gonna
We
end.
coming out, man. We gonna be dropping it like it's hot. Oh my gosh.
But watch this,
Whoa.
Diamond. The same day, Mercury is opposite Uranus. The
Oh shoot.
shocking news, the psychic
Oh
insight,
damn.
the unexpected revelations, the emotional memory body release, the feminine shit you just talked
Wow.
about, right? The
That's some
insights, the truth. Come on
I
now.
felt it. There
Yeah.
now you know that's gonna be some good stuff.
Hmm.
That's and see, that's another hard ending to this year of black women being dragged, right?
Mm.
So that's like a hard ending. That's a hard stop. Neptune is like, I'm letting you go. What you got,
Hmm.
right?
And look at what happens the next day. Mercury goes trine Neptune,
Oh, damn.
right? And Mercury also enters Sagittarius the next day. So you talking about some
Damn.
women finna be popping their shit? Some
Man, we
women
gonna
finna.
be and look at that where we're going in the country. I was watching something today and they were talking about and no, I saw it on TikTok and they were saying y'all don't know about black people because we are those entrepreneurs, right? So think
Mhm.
about that. Think about because black women, do lead the charge in that realm with starting companies and all that kind of stuff. Wow, this is gonna be good.
You better goddamn know it. And that's why that day is a good day to connect with your inner child and practice
Yeah.
emotional honesty. And it's a good day to meditate. All right. So you can feel emotionally softer. You ready for the soft era, ladies? Here it come. Like
That part. Shoot.
here come the soft era, baby.
Unapologetically.
Unapologetically for sure with Mercury in the Sagittarius.
Yes,
I'm straight up
unapologetic.
about my
Say
softness.
it with your chest. Because imagine
You
if,
hear me?
okay, so Mercury, so you got Mercury Sag. So Mercury Sag, so that's Mercury Jupiter. Oh, shoot. That's the 10 of spades, a MasterCard. And so, okay, so think about Mercury and Jupiter. Think about setting your intentions. Because
Mm.
whatever you're convicted by, Jupiter wants to grow it. Jupiter's like, okay, this is what you want, let's go for this.
And y'all really got to understand what she just said because Mercury is at a detriment in Sagittarius,
Yeah.
meaning that it doesn't really want to be there. All right,
Yep.
because how many thoughts do you have that you really want to move on?
Right.
Im- uh, Imagine a fire being lit under your ass with Mercury moving to Sagittarius, and you gotta do some shit, and you gotta tell the truth. You gotta do a shit with
And
bravery.
stop
Do it with your
looping.
chest, like
But you got to
yes,
stop looping. You can't be that person, especially with that 8 of clubs. It's like you can't be that person that is always hemming and hawing and then blaming people and this, that, and the third. It's like sad Jupiter is saying, this is about you. This is you put in, if you've put in the work, I got you.
yep. And
Right?
then
I
Mercury
got
saying,
you.
yep. And then Mercury saying, if you let go of them first 13 years of your life and all these
Thank you.
reactions from your, then you'll be
Thank you.
good. You can go
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Oh, yeah, let it go because if not, you're going to be consumed by Sag. That's a whole lot of fire to be consumed by, right?
Because then you're not expanding, you're contracting.
You're contracting. So
Yep.
it's like you're going to implode on yourself. Oh, wow.
And that shit ain't gonna feel good.
Yeah, and people ain't going to feel good being around you.
Nah, damn
Shit.
sure ain't.
People going to be like, this is the end of the year shit. No, it's time for you to go. We
Yeah,
ain't
that's
taking
that.
that with us. You're going to lose people. People going to be dropping you.
That's for sure. And that's why sharing your story openly, dream bigger, plan future adventures, right?
Dream, period. People don't even dream, much less bigger dream. You
Nah,
know,
that's for real now.
fantasize about some stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, who are you? Who's going to give you permission other than yourself? You know your circumstances. You know you've been beefing with yourself. Now it's time for you to say, listen, I might as well go for the gusto. Because what the how and excuse my French, but the world is so fucked up right now, they don't got time to look at you. They don't have
Mm.
time. There's nobody looking at you because they got too much going on. I mean, they trying to hold all these balls up in the air. This is a time for you to get in and do your thing. Because they don't have, they're not even gonna see you. They're not even gonna expect that you can that you have the audacity to do it. Because they're gonna be like, what happened? Right? No, I don't know. You know, in 2025. 10 years from now, they're going to be sitting there and say, how them motherfuckers get all them businesses? Yeah, because you wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that y'all see. Y'all better listen now.
They can't see us right now because we have always been marginalized as being, the ones that they use in circumstances when they need it. This is the time, you know how you got that four-sided glass cage with all the money. This is time for you to go in there, get all the money you can, and then hit it. Because
There
ain't
you go.
nobody watching that glass cage right now. I
Mm-mm-mm.
mean, we got some serious problems going on in this country as quiet as it kept. This started 9 years ago in 2017, right? So they are looking at if we don't get a hold over this, in which they can because Pluto's in Aquarius and is bugging out at them saying y'all ain't going nowhere. But they don't think we know that. So if we, if everything is collapsing, what are you going to do? This is the time where you look and see what's needed. It's like, okay, I see this is happening over here. Okay, I see that. That's how we are. We are those people that naturally can see things if we start, using what we have. And then we can get in and we can make it make sense. We make shit make sense for them. Now we can make it make sense for ourselves. It's like, okay, we ain't got nothing else. Well, nothing beats a try but a failure. So we gotta
That
get,
part.
yeah, we gotta get some, we gotta get some gold nets, get something. We gotta do something. Period. I don't care what it is. You could fuck it up, but you could fix it. You can't fix it if you ain't did nothing. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's like now I'm telling you, I've been saying this. The black woman, the eight of clubs is the Pluto card this year. Neptune is going direct on that day. Come
You
on
can't
now.
make
If
it
you
up.
ain't if you ain't magical, we are magical, but if you ain't magical, get out my way. Cause I'm getting ready to sprinkle my fairy dust everywhere.
Black girl magic in the building. You hear
In the
me?
building. This about magic. We are magical people. We make magic for everybody. We make magic for everybody. Now we get a chance to use our own magic for ourselves.
You better goddamn know it, Diamond. And it's a trip because that next day Mercury goes sextile with Pluto.
Get the
Like,
get.
yeah, you can't make it up. I'm telling you, now we rolling in December, baby. Like, and that's the
Damn.
deep communication, the emotional break, the raw truth, the core wounds coming out for closure,
Stop
right?
lying to yourself.
Yes, cause that shit
Stop.
ain't gonna.
We see. Look, Sensei. We see you.
Yeah,
We see you.
yeah.
Stop
Mercury,
lying.
Mercury. Everybody see you.
We see you. And Gemini gonna tell on you.
Yep,
Because
and that's why.
Gemini is some snitches.
Yeah, and can't help it. I'm gonna say something.
Go tell us that. That's the e.
That's why it's a good time to have a difficult conversation and let it liberate you. All right. And then the next day we got Mars going square Neptune. Okay.
Get out of here. Oh no.
So we got a little tension coming up, a little confusion, a
But
little unclear emotion.
Mars Neptune is the eight of clubs.
Wow. So that day is gonna be reflected back onto us on the 14th. Wow.
Damn.
So yeah, that's a good day. Yeah, don't argue with nobody that day.
No, because you
Make
you
sure,
pretty much, yeah, you could get taken out in that kind of energy.
yeah, you gotta be
You
very
if
careful.
anything pop off, you are going to jail.
Yep. And so that's because the old wounds gonna
What day
resurface.
y'all
And
said that was?
yeah,
Yeah, you going to jail. You going to jail.
it might be a mental prison too.
Yeah, boy, right? Which would be better than what is gonna happen to you.
No, yeah, cause
And
I
that's
know
the
a lot
four
of
of
motherfuckers that
clubs.
some went and played crazy and got out real easy.
And
So
she said that's a four of clubs that got a jack of spades and Venus. Oh yeah, you going to jail.
But
You
look,
have been. They've been waiting for you.
look, Diamond. The next day, Mars go into Capricorn, Diamond.
Oh shit! Yeah, this no, this don't do nothing at all. This don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Cause
I'm
you know
laughing
they
so
don't play
hard.
well together. You know that's Aries and freaking and oh, you know they do not play well together.
And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, with Mars right there in Capricorn, they might do some shit like a public raid, some big ass something go on with the goddamn police department and the
Well, you
government.
know why they can't do it? Because it's a King of Spades month.
Hmm.
So really, they really, if they learn how to use that power, we be in trouble. But yeah,
Nah, yeah,
it's a King of Spades month, so they're not magical enough to really be to enforce. That's why New York is a King of Spades, and that's why New York is always fucked up
yeah, that makes
because
sense.
it's like we get there, but then we can't never do nothing.
Yeah, and that's why the best thing for us to do that day is to start implementing your New Year plans. Literally, like that's how you put Mars to work with Capricorn. That's strategy, that's discipline, that's direction, that's ambition,
And
right? And
then you also, yeah, and you want to start looking at Aries season too. Like the
there we go.
seeds that you planting, you want to make sure that you understand that Aries season is going to be it'll be very potent for you, right? Because that's the next time Mars is going to show up, right?
Nah, I love that, Dominic. You're absolutely right, because you can see a lot of those plans and discipline and strategy start to manifest for you in Aries season. So
Hmm.
plan for it to happen in the next couple of months or so,
And
right? So
that's the
now,
spring.
yeah, that's some good shit.
Yeah.
And the next day, we'll have the moon conjunct Mercury on the 18th. All right. So that's going to be a lot of emotional clarity, communication. Like, I get it now. All right. That's going to be a lot of impact, on thoughts and feelings and how they want to reunite. So it's an integration of the insights and how they want to deepen. So you can journal the conversation that create closure, all right, for you. Okay. And then on the 19th, we'll have the moon conjunct Venus. Okay, the heart is opening up. To use that to share affection and heal relational tensions and shit. And then on the 19th, the new moon is going to be here. So on the 19th, Diamond, we got the new moon coming in. All right, and this is going to be 2 days before we enter into the winter solstice.
And what
All
day is
right.
the 19th? Let me see. The 19th is, and the 19th is, oh shoot, it's a Queen of Hearts
Queen of
day.
Hearts.
Yeah, don't be out there making no babies.
Especially with the moon in Sagittarius. Yeah, don't get
Man,
flew out. Don't get flued
don't,
out.
yeah, don't, yeah. You could mark that on the calendar in 9 months from now. See how many people had a baby. Oh my God,
And
because
look
that.
at that. Look at it though. The new 9 year cycle begins 9 months. Don't get
Yeah, I'm saying because that Queen of Hearts, that's very fertile ground. That's
very.
planting. See, if you see as women, this is the time we got to learn to plant stuff into our womb. This is the
Mm.
time where we make those intentions and we plant into our womb, especially if you out of childbearing years. This is the time where your womb is supposed to be used for you planting those seeds that are going to grow in 9 months. You're gonna birth something. So yeah, I gotta remember that. That's good.
Mhm. And then on December 20th, which is my oldest daughter's birthday, is the moon will be conjunct Mars. All right. I mean, not my oldest, I'm tripping. That's my little brother around his birthday. But the moon will be conjunct Mars on that day. This is gonna be a day what is that, a 10 of hearts day?
No, is that the Jack of Hearts?
Jack of
What's that?
hearts.
What's that, June?
I'm sorry, say again.
December 20th, what is that? Jack of
Yeah,
hearts or
Jack of
10 of hearts?
Hearts.
Jack of
Yes.
hearts,
Oh,
okay.
and you
Yeah,
said
so
what is it? What's happening?
that's the moon conjunct Mars.
Damn.
So a lot of passion, courage, and intensity on that day. Your body wants movement that day. You know what I'm
And
saying? So,
yeah, and one of the most fixed cards in the deck.
so channel passion into creation with that
Yeah.
Jack of Hearts on that day. All right, and on that same day, Venus is square Saturn with that Jack of Hearts day, Diamond. So that's a boundaries reality check, especially matters of the heart. Definitely with Venus there on relationship truth. emotionally you can see what is sustainable and what isn't, right? So you can use it to redraw boundaries and commit to what's real.
And
All
guess what
right.
the Venus card is to the Jack of Hearts?
What?
The Jack of Diamonds.
Wow. That's
There's gonna
crazy.
be some shenanigans.
It's gonna be some shenanigans with the goddamn Saturn shit with the government and values and shit. So
And it's
yeah. Look,
displacing the Nine of Spades.
wow. And that's the truth, because the next day we go right into the solstice and the sun's going to enter Capricorn. So Capricorn season starts on the 21st. More direction, more grounding, more embodiment, more long-term clarity. This going to be identity is going to be stabilizing. You stepping into the new frequency of the 9-year cycle. So use to set long-term goals and declare your path
And
when the
that's
sun has
crazy
entered
because
Capricorn.
you saying long term, and the challenging karma card is the Six of Spades.
Wow. To
So
that
that's
day.
yeah to the Ten of Hearts. So yeah, so you definitely talking about planting some seeds.
Mm-hmm. And then the next day, the moon is conjunct Pluto.
Oh shit! On a Nine of Hearts day.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
An
And this is
emotional
Nine of
purge.
Hearts year. Okay, so this is the time for you to really think about what you need to let go of. Cause you got the moon conjunct in Pluto and the Nine of Hearts is Saturn, Saturn.
During
You
Capricorn season, right?
you better let it go.
That's an emotional purge. All right,
It's an emotional
shadow work.
purge.
You
You
see the
better
shadow
say it.
work I got up in there?
Yeah, you better
That's
say it. You better
and that's
say
why
it.
it's a final emotional purge. It rises. You see a diamond just went right in it. That's the last shadow of the 9-year cycle
That's the
dissolved.
last shadow. You
Yep.
better say it. You better
And,
let it go, or else you do not want to be down in Pluto with Capricorn. No,
mm-mm.
no, no, no,
And my
no.
And
little brother was born on this day. I got a little brother that's a 9 of hearts.
this
Mhm.
overlaps with the 30-day that we're doing, letting it go.
Mm.
So yeah,
You
all of
can't
this is
make
in
it up,
alignment.
right?
Yeah, this is alignment for sure.
Let yourself release deeply. Cry, express, purge, or journal is what I put down up in there. All right. So,
Punch somebody in the face.
that's the
Shit.
Capricorn
Crash
moon
out.
talking, y'all. That's the Capricorn moon talking to y'all.
It's the last of the year. Come on now. You earned it.
You earned to punch somebody in the
You
fucking.
earned it. I
My
told you to
God.
stop. I told you to stop.
Oh shit. And look, the next day Venus is squatting Neptune on the 23rd, right? So that illusion, fantasy, projection, idealization, the romantic wounds could surface, emotional memory of the past,
And
heartbreak could
that's your
occur.
Jupiter card. You know that, right?
That's my
That's the
Jupiter
Eight
on
of
the.
Hearts. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I need to sit my ass down on the 23rd.
Yeah, boy, because you're going to be a charismatic motherfucker that day.
I'm going
Make
live then,
lives.
Dom.
Make lives all day long,
Make
right?
lives all day.
Yeah, because that Eight of Hearts, I'm telling you right now, that Eight of
Oh shit.
Hearts, that's the charisma behind it all.
Well, that's noted. Y'all expect me to go live on December 23rd, okay?
Mhm.
And now the 24th, Christmas Eve, right? Venus enters Capricorn. You can't make this up, all right? And that's going to be a commitment, devotion, and maturity, and the love becomes real. Relationship clarity. You can choose stability when this energy comes up, and you can define relationship visions and also deepen more healthy bonds with people during that time.
And check this out. The Eight of Hearts is in trans Pluto.
Mm.
So this is gonna be a serious emotional purge.
Mm, beautiful. And then on the 26th, after Christmas, we got the moon conjunct Saturn and Neptune. So that's gonna be like an energy. It's gonna feel surreal. That's an emotional series. It's like a karmic review, right? So you can reflect on the entire year of the 9 cycle and use it, meditate, rest, integrate the emotional lessons that you've taken with you.
But check this out. Saturn Neptune is the Five of Diamonds, the card of the black man.
Mm.
All of what you said is like brought it full circle to that to what's gonna be happening with the black woman. That's deep.
So the month of December
And
could be a closure for both
yes,
genders.
and the Jack of Spades is sitting there. This initiation for black men.
So I need to do something spiritual around this.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Got you.
This definitely is a purge and it's an initiation, and it's a long time coming for sure.
For sure, for sure.
And it's also it's connected to the King of Clubs. So do the right thing is all I can say.
Do the right thing like Spike Lee, baby.
Mhm.
Now, the 29th, we have Mercury square Saturn. So that can be some delays, some blocked communication, some heavy thinking, right? So the mind can slow down around this time. You can process the weight of your evolution, like, damn, I done came a long way type shit. So use it, be patient. Don't interpret the slowdowns as failure, all right? So that's the
Yeah,
29th.
slow you down for you to not get involved in that silly season.
Mm-hmm. And right before the moon goes conjunct Uranus on the 31st, all right, and that would be, surprise, emotional liberation, plot twist. Uranus conjunct the moon, you can expect some plot twists to happen. So this year can end with a shock or a revelation or revelation. Even a psychic reset finalizes your next chapter. So use it, release expectations, enter 2026 with the openness, all right? And
Yeah.
then the big picture, this is gonna be, initiates mental emotional detox, clears the 9-year karmic residue, rewrites internal narratives, recognizes the nervous system, reorganizes the nervous system, opens the perception of field of the mind, corrects belief systems, realigns purpose, prepares you for, the one restart to 2026, to purge the emotional memory from the body, integrate spiritual rituals, and anchors new identity to the next decade. So December becomes the month where the mind lets go and the soul can move forward and the body can finally rest. All right. And this right here is the part to where y'all can go over on your own. All right, this will be giving you your placements, and for those of you who have the PDF, you can go in there and track your ascendant, go in there and track your moon sign, your sun sign. All right, I also have a breakdown in here on how it connects to the midhaven as well. All right, so this for those of you who do not get the full breakdown, personal breakdown for yourself, you can still use this PDF to kind of help you, understand what is going on from a general aspect. Also, I have the numerology here as well. So your life path numbers are mixed up in this PDF as well. And then for the final parts, of course, you got your ritual. Alright, and you got a ritual here that's gonna help you embrace this energy. And these journal prompts will be going from now until the new moon. And y'all know the next workshop, as usual, will be on the new moon. So if you didn't get the PDF, make sure you do let me know. If it is something that you are interested in as far as getting your full breakdown personally, make sure you let me know that as well so I can get you on in there and get that to you. And for those of you who've already gotten your personal breakdown, make sure you hit me up and I will be able to get you that before you check out. All right, before you check out of the full moon. So by the time you get to the full moon tomorrow night, you will have your breakdown. All right. So with that being said, is there anybody that has any questions or anything like that, or anything y'all want to add? Diamond, or something else you want to add to the people before we get up out of here?
Nope, just pay attention because everything is lined up. You don't have no excuses now.
You better goddamn know it. It's like everything is out in the open. Like, don't get out your own way. Even myself, it's some things I got to get out of my own way with, right? There's no, when you truly understand that this is all the evolution, right? You don't have to strive to be perfect when you know that you already are it, but there's a difference between you expanding and contracting. So don't be willing to, be willing to expand. Don't be willing to stay the same, especially when this moon and all these energies are ushering us out of our old ways and shit. All right, so be adaptable, be mutable, be diligent, be focused, be present, all that good shit. And don't forget, if you do want the personal breakdown, make sure you inbox me or text me or whatever the case may be. And also, Shayla wanted to share something with y'all before we get up out of here. So,
I wanted to I wanted to thank you all for your participation and your support in tonight's workshop. This evening, I had Sensei all the way off of his element, so he is not at home. He's out here at Methodist Hospital with me and my grandmother, and she's 98 years old, so she's losing her life force energy. So I appreciate everybody, through the technical difficulties because he is away. However, things must go on. So I'm living out my chart right now. I'm a Sagittarius moon. My grandmother is a Capricorn. So I'm ushering her out. And her birthday is about to be Christmas Day. So she might not make it. I don't think that she is. But I want to thank you all for just sticking through the workshop because we are not at our normal location. So appreciate that.
Nah, I appreciate y'all for sure. Life be life, and sometimes you show up in places and your energy is always where it's needed. And when you're able to just push through and move on, it's a trip because you'll never know, where life will take you. But it's like when you choose to be present and you choose to show up, everything ain't always about you. Right. So being able to integrate and being able to show up for people when they need you and still staying focused and all that type of shit. Like, yeah, we all out here juggling shit. Like, straight up. We all out here going through it. We all out here living this life and, alchemizing shit in real time. All right. Literally. Okay. So regardless of whatever, we're going to show the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole power of being devoted and all that type of shit. So I
But you
appreciate you
know what?
all.
But you know what, Sensei? What I
Talk
want
to
to
me.
say? I want to say how perfect the world is because no matter what you see on TV, no matter what you see on social media, everything is still the same. People are living, dying, people are getting married, people are having babies. Everything is still the same. Nothing changes. It's going to be your perception. You're going to be the one to usher you into that understanding that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And I thank you for understanding the assignment because you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You doing support, you still doing the class. That's what we do. That's what we do. We ain't bitches out here. You know what I mean? We do what we do and we do it in love. And then just like we were talking about, we could look at things in the next season of our life. So yeah, we always have to stand and give honor to the universe, to the Mother Earth, to our ancestors that guide us and take us through everything that we going through.
You better goddamn know it, Diamond. And people don't really know how it needs to be a walk solution. Like to just be out of have to get out of your own shit and just show up and just be, man, this shit takes a willingness. You gotta want to do this shit. So that's why this shit will drain you when it's not who you are. So yes,
Shayla,
don't forget, beautiful souls. If Go ahead, who was that?
that was me, Lisa.
Was that you, Diamond?
Um, no, it's Lisa. I just want to let you
Hey,
guys know that I'm a hold space for Shayla. I'm gonna hold space for you and your grandmother and your entire family.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
now I appreciate y'all. It's like shit. Yeah, life. You can't always dictate what the day gonna bring. You can't. So that's the whole point of being solidified, being fortified, like knowing no matter what comes your way. That's the power of the mental shit, because we can all, just like what you said, Dom, ain't no more excuses. Like, do you want to show up or not? Do you want to be here or not? That's why you watching a lot of people check the fuck out. And if you pay, I literally know a young lady personally, and she tried to unalive herself on the freeway, and then we just watched another young lady do it, and she lived. Both of these young ladies lived. I literally know. I know the first person that did, and she was a youngster. She was a young lady, and now this other girl did, and they both survived. Like now, like so now. Sometimes we mentally check the fuck out, and when it's physically still something here that we gotta express. So the mind can check the fuck out, and your body can still be fighting to live, like literally, right? And we can say God still got plans for you, all that good shit. So Don't check out on yourself to the point to where you're ready to just leave this motherfucker, right? Because we all gonna go one day. Don't rush it. It's gonna happen. I promise you. So once again, if you want the full breakdown, a personal breakdown for yourself, make sure you book it. All right. And gratitude to you all once again for your time, your energy, your presence, and all that good shit. Highest of vibration to you all. You all will receive the recording as well. And I will post it on my YouTube as well. All right. Y'all to get to go and y'all can share the link and all that good shit. So appreciate you, Diamond, for show. Appreciate all of you beautiful souls for coming through. And y'all enjoy this full moon energy, and may it be as graceful and renewing to your mind as the air and the wind blowing against your skin. Namaste.